everyone! Welcome to Nature Check's Arda Campaign, the show where you come for the game and stay for the science. Hi, I'm Sheryl, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this campaign. I'm also a PhD candidate studying ecology at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and when I'm not doing research, I'm a science communicator, and I promise I will get back to making videos for the Roving Naturalist eventually. Nancy wants me to do more turf wars.
I miss turf wars with you.
I miss it too. I'm almost done with field work, I promise. Next there's Ryan.
Hello, I'm Ryan. I'm an insect and horticulture enthusiast in Pittsburgh, where I work in medical cannabis. In our game, I play Fletcher, the human wizard, and I think that's about it.
Then there's Cindy.
Hi, I'm Cindy, she, her. I'm a science enthusiast and play an Andorian engineer over on Heroes of Awesome Constellation on the Weirdlings Twitch and YouTube channels, but here I play Nautia, the Water Method Druid.
Then there's Peter.
I'm Peter. I'm an agricultural scientist and insect photographer, and I play Cedric, the Dwarven cleric, and our pronouns are he, him.
I like that everybody's coming up with new titles for themselves. And then there's Nancy.
Hi, I'm still an entomologist, which means that I study bugs. I live in Quito, Ecuador, where I'm normally toting your butt around the jungle to look at all of the cool bugs and also learn about the culture here and conservation projects and ecology. And I play a human-ish looking young rogue named Kay, and our pronouns are she, her.
She doesn't want to say it. She's not ready to own it.
I was gonna say, you can say it now, Nancy. Everybody knows now. You're not
okay,
humanish
the
anymore.
real problem is, like, I feel like I pronounced the race wrong.
Everybody says it differently. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's a made-up word.
Yeah, exactly. It's a made-up word.
Yeah, like if you're an Asimar, you can just say Asimar however you want to.
Okay, I'm an Asimar then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I can't remember if it's an IR at the end or an AR at the end, because there's like too many A's, there's too many vowels. I'm like the celestial glowy people from up on the high heavens.
What she said. Yeah. If you're watching us live right now, thanks for being here. Thank you for, oh gosh, hi, Eric, Sarah, I think there was somebody else watching, but they left. Anyway, thanks for being here. You know the drill. If you've got questions for us, put them in the chat. We like to talk with our viewers. And you can check out the reference section. It's got social media handles, Discord links, our schedule, all that good stuff. Don't forget, if you want to share us with your friends or catch up on episodes you missed, you can find all of our TRPG sessions, including our fun one-shots, on our YouTube channel and on podcast platforms. We've done several one-shots over the past few months that are really worth checking out because they're just full of awesome chaos. Okay. You are all back together in the material plane, but everything feels different now. Cedric is alive, but with new clothes and some different tastes. Fletcher, Kay, and Nautia are feeling a variety of emotions, and all four of you spent yesterday trying to figure out how you fit together as a group. It is now morning on Uladamum, the 12th day of Brightrun, 1 month since 3 of you left New Seychester, and you are all waking up in the temple in the mountains near the Raptoran village. But before we get back into the action of the story, something came up at the end of last episode, and we wanted to give it the time it deserved, so we're actually going to start with a science bell! Sorry, my finger was on the ringing part.
It was initially the saddest little bell that it didn't do. I was like, oh, it's broken.
No, my finger was like touching the ringy part, and I was like, oh, whoops.
It was just a click.
I promise I know how to ring the bell. Yeah, who wants to start us off with the thing that was briefly mentioned at the end of last episode and why we brought it up?
I think we should start with Peter is saying again what it was, like what's going on with Cedric, like as if you're describing your symptoms.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I want to say, like, well, Cedric has awakened with like a very strong distaste for red meat, which he was not aware of until like he put it in his mouth and it no longer agreed with him, which is not the same as the alpha gal allergy that we all like immediately thought of. So red meat just doesn't taste good to Cedric anymore, but he's not allergic to it. But I think everybody in the group was immediately like, oh, alpha gal, like that's so similar, which is a tick-induced allergy to proteins that are found in red meat, which is a thing that occurs in the eastern United States.
There's black-legged ticks. Black-legged ticks and Lone Star ticks are the two that they currently think can induce this in people. It's basically an allergy to alpha gal is, I believe, alpha galactose, a sugar that is in a lot of different meats, but not normally in people, but it's in like other kinds of red meat. Mm-hmm. And the science is still not clear why you could normally go like eat some red meat and you're totally fine. But for some reason, if you get a bite from a certain tick that they also carry alpha gal in their saliva, some sort of process from that creates a allergy to that sugar in your body. So the next time you eat red meat, you could go into basically anaphylactic shock. You can get covered in rashes. There's all those basically systemic allergy reactions that you can have. And we kind of know, like we've narrowed it down to it's something from the tick, but we still don't really like totally know what's going on.
And this is super fun. I found this while reading the CDC website. It's not just eating red meat. So alpha gal, like you said, it's alpha galactose, a sugar. So it's a sugar molecule that's found in most mammals, but not people. And it's not found in a lot of other animals. So not in like fish, reptiles, birds, whatever. But it's not just in the meat. It can also wind up in products made from mammals. So medications, cosmetics, vaccines, gelatin, and milk type products can all contain this sugar, which means that you could get that allergic reaction like Ryan was describing from any of those things potentially, depending on how severe your allergy winds up being, which is really exciting.
Yeah, right, because it would be really hard to get rid of. I mean, alpha galactose, like that's such a small molecule. The kind of processing they would ever possibly have to do to rid that out of derived animal products would be a wild amount of work to rid that from those things. And so it's a wild thing. I really hope I never end up with this. But being in Pennsylvania, we have like every bad tick thing possible in this state. So it's not great.
I had Lyme disease twice.
Yay.
Yay. So
but
very excited that in Ecuador we don't have like any tick problems. We have like lots of other insect-borne diseases, but ticks are not a problem.
That's nice.
And you were able to...
I don't think we mentioned, but the symptoms can range in the same way that like most allergies, from like mild kind of, you are uncomfortable to like anaphylaxis, right? Where you have to go to the hospital. So it can be really, really terrible.
Yeah, from like a sensitization to like full blown, like really bad allergy reaction.
The CDC website lists like a rash or hives, which is like something that I get for a food allergy that I have.
People get that from like everything.
Right, it's annoying, but it's not life-threatening. Yeah, but then there's also nausea or vomiting, severe stomach pain, and then difficulty breathing, drop in blood pressure, and dizziness or faintness. So those are exciting. So yeah, it's an allergic reaction just like anything else. So it's one of those where like you would have it, but because it appears a few hours after you are exposed to the alpha galactose, you might not like immediately realize that that's what caused the reaction.
Yeah. Probably also worth noting that like it's a true allergy and not just a sensitivity, because those are two different things, especially when you're dealing with foods, because there can be lots of food sensitivities that aren't technically allergies.
Right, because allergies stimulate the immune response, where sensitivities are just like in the digestive system.
Yeah, like they can be bad, like celiac sucks, but it's not technically an allergy.
Right. Yeah.
The other weird thing about alpha gal is it's a relatively new thing. So it's not like there's a new disease-causing organism that causes it. It's these ticks have been around for as long as humans have been in North America. But alpha-gal allergies have only been around since, like, I think the first detected one was like in the early 2000s.
So I found an article in Nature about it, and the person who happens, the scientist who happens to share my first name, including the spelling, said that her first case that she encountered was in 1987. So I guess it kind of depends on, like, it's like one of those, like, how do you know that this is what it is and how it works? So it may have occurred earlier and maybe just nobody realized what it was. Because, again, it's an allergic reaction, so you might not realize what you're allergic to, right?
I think it gained a lot of news popularity in the 2000s, though.
I think the prevalence went a lot higher recently, or at least the ability to diagnose what it actually was. I bet it was going undiagnosed for a long time. And, people were relating it to all kinds of other things, because you think of getting, bitten by an insect, you associate that with a disease, like a transfer of another microorganism that causes a disease. We still don't know yet, but it's something that just has to do with a molecule. Like, and then you get an allergic reaction to this carbohydrate. And I think that was probably undiagnosed for a long time, because what else could we equate that to previously?
Yeah.
And it's not everyone who gets it either.
No.
So it's like you just have to be the one unlucky person.
Yeah, so there may be a genetic predisposition towards it, that you already have some kind of change in the gene for a certain receptor that predisposes you to then developing that allergy. And that's what that's what all the research right now is trying to sort out with it.
And what you just said about, like, genetic predisposition for developing the allergy connects with something that, like, this whole conversation made me think about. So this is kind of a weird thing, but when I was reading this and noticed that, like, alpha-gal appears in, like, some other animals and not others, and it doesn't appear in people, it made me think of when I worked at the zoo, and they were talking about the aardvarks, and, like, only certain people can be aardvark keepers because aardvarks have some sort of, I think it's a protein in their skin that, like, we don't have, and most people, when they come in contact with aardvark skin, will develop an allergic reaction, and so, like, only people who don't immediately develop the reaction can wind up being aardvark keepers, because they, like, most people just can't be that close to them that often. So yeah, allergies are weird, and a lot of it just does have to do with, like, whether or not your body is used to that sugar or protein or whatever, that substance. So yeah, I thought that was wild. So if you had dreams of becoming an aardvark keeper, Peter looks so sad about this. Did you want to be an aardvark keeper and now you can't?
Yeah, it's been my lifelong dream. Well, no, I'm just hoping that I could get an aardvark and then no one would ever be able to come visit me ever again. It's the dream right there. Like, just, sorry, I'd invite you over, but you might die, so...
Oh my goodness.
The killer aardvark, but it's not what people think.
Yeah. It's like a security system. Somebody breaks in your house, they steal all your stuff, and then 6 hours later they go in anaphylaxis and die. It's revenge.
Okay. Any
that
other?
Took a turn.
It really did. I didn't think that was going to go there. But anyway, any other?
So it's a revenge aardvark, not a killer aardvark,
right,
but a revenge aardvark.
Yeah. As they say, it's best served cold, right? So you want that delayed action.
Aardvark is a dish best served cold.
Yes, that is what they say.
What has happened?
I don't know. But if nobody has any other thoughts on the alpha-gal... Huh? Yeah,
I think Sarah in the chat asked, could a biologic factor be produced to target the alpha-galactose?
Oh. Huh. So, like... Oh, sorry, I'm scrolling.
Like a lactate kind of thing where you could, side the red meat, maybe?
Huh.
That would be the only way I could think of that you would, make it work.
Yeah, well, and even, lactate isn't a perfect solution, right?
No, but you could like, you know, if you had a mild allergy, you could potentially like, if you had, you know, like lactate is like an enzyme that breaks down the lactose. So if you could create like an enzyme that you could eat alongside the alpha-gal that would maybe break it down, and then there would be less of it in the food that you're eating, maybe.
Or even something that could just like bind to it or around it and keep it from being like interacted with your system. Yeah. I don't know.
I still feel like it would be like kind of risky, especially if you're one of the people with like anaphylactic shock, you know, like I don't think I would try it.
No.
Yeah.
They'll probably know more about the therapeutics or, you know, things they can develop once they just learn more about the problem. And it's like, and because it also could be like, is it the galactose? Is it something else the galactose, you know, interacts with that makes some kind of cascade in the body that leads to something else that creates the condition? So I think they'll narrow it down more. I don't know how much active research is going on with it, because it feels like people still treat it as like sort of a like niche problem and not, you know, like, you know, it's not a, you know, vector-borne disease. So I don't know how much is really being done right now.
I mean, I think you might be right on that, but it's probably one of those things that, like, might increase in the amount of research being done as it becomes more prevalent as those ticks start moving into other parts of the country. And... yeah,
as all tick-borne problems are. They're all increasing. Like, it's all on the rise.
Yeah.
Well, with that very cheerful, optimistic opening to the show, that concludes your science... Well, it doesn't conclude your science for the day. It concludes that moment.
No more science.
No more science. We're done.
None.
So now we just get to go back to everyone being like awkward
sad
and slightly upset in different rooms.
If anybody
right?
else talks about science, you're getting kicked from the call. No, but yeah, you can all resume being emo or whatever was happening. It is the next morning. And I think we had determined that you all were sleeping in the dormitory, but it sounded like a lot of people had picked beds like very far apart from one another. So you're socially distanced in the dormitory.
I think even if we weren't all feeling awkward around each other, I think we would be sleeping like far away from each other just for like the kind of novelty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling together for like
100 years.
Yeah, like a million years. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you've been in those teeny little tents a lot.
So we all kind of went to bed with our plan for the next day being like wake up and deal with the fact that we need to do this temple again. And none of us are very excited about it, right?
I mean, you don't have to do anything with the temple. This is D&D.
I think the thing was just that we didn't really know what we were going to do with it.
Yeah, like what we were going to use in the symbols.
Yeah, because we did fire, we did water.
We did sand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're close to a town this time, though. We could like buy stuff from the town and put it in there.
Sort of a village. But there's also a whole lot of different sort of like plant life around.
We know that there's somebody who sells clothes and
dye. We could fill the whole thing up with cool dye.
I wonder if
maybe we'll get to be tattooed and striped.
I'm so
no.
Sorry.
I'm not okay. I'm not going to say any more because that would be too metagaming. So I'm going to wait until we're actually like talking about what we want to do. Because I just had an idea, but I'm not going to like be like, oh, I'll propose it now, not in game.
While we're talking about not metagaming, none of our characters are aware of the fact that we get bonuses to any skills from this, right? Like we all did afterwards and like invigorated.
Yeah. Well,
so it's always been like I mean, it has been pretty good because it's always been like what has been at hand that we've had enough of. Like it's never been.
Well, so yeah, you didn't notice it in the desert because the only person who had a lot of trouble in the desert was Cedric, and he was wearing metal armor. So you guys pretty much explained it like that. And
well, and also I was the only one that didn't actually participate in the fire.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like they all got a bonus, but like your disadvantage wasn't as noticeable because there were other reasons for you to be disadvantaged.
Because there was a perfectly good reason for you to have disadvantage.
Yeah. And you and Kay both fell in the river in the mine and got bonuses to your swim checks to not get swept away. But again, like you may or may not have noticed because they're little bonuses. They're not like I am all powerful now.
An Olympic swimmer,
right? Yeah.
I think the water one was before we did the whole thing at the point where the pollution was coming into the main river. So there may have been a little bit of that advantage for someone else there.
You were the only one who
you swam.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like
I guess
the water
Cedric just
person
waited out.
should
He
go
didn't
in the
actually
water.
swim.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, but again, like, yeah, you wouldn't necessarily like realize that it's doing anything to you. You just know that the symbol glows and the stuff that you put in the troughs disappears. Ta-da.
And then in the last temple, because we also we tried to do it again specifically so that Kay could try to communicate through.
And it did not work.
Yeah, but it was also like the second try. So maybe we try something on the first try this time.
I like it. So while we're not metagaming, the only thing that makes sense to Cedric is that it be the 4 elements, because that's basically what we've tried so far is water, fire, earth. I mean, Cedric is a big Avatar fan, so.
What is he going to do? Put heart in there next?
Oh.
And he's not a Captain Planet fan, he's an Avatar fan. Sorry.
I don't want you to go out and grind so that you can fill those 3 troughs with hearts. Can we not do that?
We could have an interesting segment on the Aztecs.
You just gotta fill it with love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you want an emo-y episode? Yeah, us crying into the troughs.
Oh.
I mean, Kay cries a lot, but that might even be a little bit much for her.
All right. Well, so you've had this discussion out of character, but let's get into character and see how your characters feel about all of this instead of how you feel about all of this.
Okay.
I think Fletcher probably would have woken up early and I think probably gone into that temple room. Because like now that we've like spent time here and we've gone to those places so much before and knowing everything we know about those rooms and knowing how much we don't know about those rooms, probably would have woken up and gone in there while like people were still asleep and there wasn't anybody in there. And it's just kind of looking at the walls, like what's carved into this room and all of those same sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, the art is a similar style, but all of the imagery is of the ecosystem that you're in now. So there are mountain peaks and there are the animals and plants that you've seen as you've been in this area. So yeah, otherwise the same. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Kay wakes up and decides 5 more minutes and pulls the blanket over her head and rolls over.
Yeah, Nautia probably would have gotten up fairly early and just sort of gone out foraging.
Okay. Cedric?
I think Cedric probably would have woken up and then like kind of scoped out where everybody else was and kind of checked in the other rooms looking for everybody else. He's kind of got next step on his mind. So I think he would kind of step into the room, the symbol room, where Fletcher is.
Okay. So you said you stuck your head in all the rooms. So as a reminder, the dormitory is one room within the complex behind the dwelling door. So there's also like, some storage rooms and like study rooms and the kitchen and stuff. And then the other two doors that you can open and access, one is the worship that goes to the room where Fletcher is, and the other is training, which goes into this like classroomy area.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of stick my head into worship.
Okay.
Then, hey, Fletcher. I didn't bother to check yesterday, but did you check and see if there's any writing on the ceiling? Remember, there was that other room way back in the other temple that had the writing on the ceiling. I feel like we should be checking for that.
Well, that was showed up in the dark, right? I didn't see anything over the beds last night. I haven't looked in any of the other rooms in the dark. When we camped out our first night there, we had a fire going and haven't been anywhere in complete darkness. So I haven't seen anything, but there could be.
You want to check in here? I'll go check the rest of the rooms. I can walk around them without a torch because, dark vision.
So Sheryl, is the room lit with a torch, or is it getting like enough light from outside that like daylight lights it up?
The main room off of which these four other doors lead gets a little bit of light depending on like the time of day, the angle of the sun through those bushes, but they are pretty thick bushes. So, and all of, where you are in the worship room is behind a closed door. So it's pitch black in here unless you have a light source. Yeah.
Okay. So I would have my lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, and since it's a hooded lantern, I'll just like drop its little plates down around the sides to make it go dark in the worship room where I am, just to see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, you drop the hooded thing on your lantern and look up at the ceiling all around, and you don't see anything, but certainly not any of that script like you guys saw in that other temple.
Yeah. Open the candle back up to get light. Nothing in here. I mean, where we found it before was in sort of just a random side room, so I wouldn't necessarily have expected it to be in here, but maybe you could go look around all those rooms by the dormitory.
Will do. Yes, that makes sense. Yes, worth a shot. I'll get. Yep. All right. I'll be back in a minute. And I'm going to just kind of do a quick circuit of the rest of the room. And at least when I go to the dormitory, give Kay like a bump.
What? Is the sun up yet?
Oh, yeah. It's been up for I've been up for hours.
Oh.
Burning daylight.
Okay, like claws her way out of bed.
So long.
Yeah.
Kay like claws her way out of bed, I guess, and it's like, yeah, and like wanders off to the bathroom like a zombie.
So yeah, I do a quick whip through of all the other rooms in the dark. Do I see anything else?
You do not. Make an intelligence check for me, Cedric.
The natural 20.
Oh, good. Okay, so thinking about where you saw that stuff that was in the Grassland Temple, it was in one of the individual bedrooms on the ceiling, and you did in fact go into that room first because there was that whole thing where there was like there was a symbol carved on the one stone on the floor, and everybody was freaking out and wanted you to inspect it. So you went in that room in the dark by yourself at first, and it was only after Fletcher and his lantern had come and gone that you and Lucanus saw the writing on the ceiling. And the symbol on the floor was in the shape of a flame.
I'm going to come back into the worship room. I just remembered something.
I like how Cedric is putting that together now, as if totally clearly remembering all of those things after he's been dead.
I mean, yeah. It's like those little glow-in-the-dark stars that you put on your ceiling as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
They have to absorb the light
Right.
to activate.
Yeah.
I just remembered that, remember that flame symbol? Info dump on Fletcher. Remember, like, it had to, like, you had to go in there with the flame and then leave again before I could see it?
Oh.
Symbol like that anywhere in here?
Possibly. I alone would have never seen it, though. With my lantern out, I always have it on wherever I am.
Right.
So I guess
So we don't know we know it's not in.
We know it's not in here because I've been using my lantern. Then I guess, well, I kind of need this, so I guess we'll walk together.
Okay.
I'm just loving the idea of you come barging into the dormitory with the lantern real bright while Kay's still trying to sleep. Bright light, turn it back on.
So I guess we'll walk out, and I think the next room over is the training room. So we'll just like turn in there. I'm like, okay, well let's give it a moment, and I'll pull make sure I have like all the sides of the lantern up to just really like get the glow in the room. Give it a moment, and then.
Excited.
What was that?
Get the electrons excited.
Yeah.
That's why it glows. They
yeah.
jump out and then gradually fall back down.
And then
while we're waiting, it just kind of like.
Hopefully this works. I drop the sides.
Okay. You make the room dark again, and you don't see anything anywhere.
I guess we're going to do this in all the rest of the rooms. And while we're I'm going to be looking for a flame symbol like we saw in the previous temple.
Okay, give me a search check then. Inspecting the stonework.
Let's see. I am bothering to look.
Oh, it was that low, huh?
Yep, it's a 4. It's a total of 4.
Cool, yeah. You do not see any, don't you get a bonus to searching stonework? Anyway, you don't see any flame symbols.
Okay, it's a 6.
Okay, yeah, you don't see any flame symbols. And you try this in a bunch of other rooms and don't get any results.
Well, it was worth a try, I guess.
With that kind of connection, that it may have been a message left by a person in one place that they had been. They may not have necessarily been in all of these temples. Might not be, like, it's not a built-in feature of every temple. It was a single person who visited that temple.
Makes sense. Oh well. I guess the only thing else to do is fill up these troughs with something
and see if Kay can do anything here while we are doing that this time. We kind of missed our chance in the last temple.
Yeah. We're getting better at this, I feel like, maybe. Right? 4th is the charm. That's what we say. That's what dwarves say.
By the 12th temple, they'll have it down. It'll be perfect.
There are 12 temples?
No, I know. I just picked a number. I can't tell if you're excited or horrified by that.
I'll let that be a mystery for you, like the number of temples is for us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need Kay. We should probably get her up if we're going to do this and find Nautia, because I haven't seen her yet today.
So the only thing I can think of is that we need to be filling these troughs with with air, because that's the fourth element after fire, water, and earth. But I guess
we
full of air, so I don't know how we would like do that.
Yeah, in our first temple, we did the arrangement and stood on pillars without anything, which means they were filled with air and nothing happened. But one of the options I've been mulling over while we've been here that may relate to what you would want to do is if these people here, if they keep their feathers if they go through, like many birds go through a molt or lose plumage, if you keep those feathers for use in all kinds of various things, we could see if we can purchase some and use feathers in the drops. Feathers, birds, air, flying. Feathers and rocks are the things I've seen that are very abundant around here. It's just a matter of which one we can easily get.
I'm honestly not super familiar with birds much. So the fact that their feathers just kind of fall out is gross, I guess. They don't
Their
have
hair falls out all the
where it come
time.
from. What? What does?
Never mind.
Just fall out. I'm just honestly, I'm having trouble imagining showing up in like a human village, being like, "So we'd like to purchase a large quantity of hair."
I mean, people do that though.
Keep that.
Yeah, like people go to different areas all over the world and like offer to buy people's hair.
Yeah.
And they're usually like cheated out of good prices for it.
I know that.
It's a thing.
But I feel like that's a niche market, right? I feel like it's not a thing that many people are involved in. I don't know. But yes, that's fair.
I mean, I feel like human hair wigs are like pretty
Those are the
popular.
most expensive kinds of wigs you can get, are the real human wigs.
Sure.
The whole reason you've got the like hair donation programs is to make high quality wigs.
Well, those are complicated, so.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Welcome to Nature Check, where we talk about the science and socio-political issues.
Yeah.
Also stay for the games. Yes.
But
Yeah, I feel like it's even
these people have to be really utilitarian up here. Like, I would think if they do drop feathers at things and they're in the mountains where it gets cold, and like you have your feathers, you need to be warmer. Think of all the things we do use feathers for. If you could just have an endless supply of them all the time, like each year you're suddenly having a surplus of feathers. I don't know.
I'm also just laughing because I did recall that I have a bag full of feathers stuffed somewhere in the kitchen, I guess.
Oh yeah,
From
feathers.
a random effect last day. But no one else knows about it.
Nope. I forgot you put them in a bag and hid them.
If I don't know what to do with those, Nautia certainly does not.
That's so great. I had totally forgotten that. I thought you were talking about like you, Cindy, like as a person who owns lots of craft supplies.
Oh,
Cindy's just hiding feathers all around her house.
A nice selection of feathers because I worked on a show that called for. I did a production of Cyrano 2 years ago. There were many quills. I have so many feathers.
Now Nautia also has a secret supply of feathers.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Well, we'll find that out when Nautia gets back.
Yeah.
Or when someone goes in the kitchen.
Feather?
No. Haven't you ever, like, as a kid, like, there was something that you were just like, I can't get caught with this, so I shove it somewhere that mom will definitely never find? Just me? Okay.
Definitely, yeah. Just you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, feathers, it's kind of air-y So
otherwise, the only other thing that I don't think we're going to have access to is we use these sorts of things sometimes at university for various tasks, but there's like air elementals that are the pure representations of elements. We could source things from them, but we'd probably be spending a very long time tracking and hunting air elementals to get enough of those pieces to fill these. So I don't really feel like that's an option.
yeah, I mean, so far I've never met one, and I'm roughly 30 in human years, so I feel like that's not a great track record for encountering enough of them to. Okay, let's do feathers. That sounds good. Let's ask Kay and Nautia what they think. But I got no problem with that.
Where is Princess K?
Ooh.
Groggily coming out of the bathroom, slightly disheveled.
She should be feeling pretty good because like we haven't been in like real proper beds in a month, and we just got like 2 nights in beds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Women have monthly biology that happens, sir.
Also, there's that thing.
You're gonna make that an element in this game.
Okay.
You're gonna keep track of game month time and do this every month.
Maybe
That would be great role playing, but you better start up your in-game calendar.
Okay, 3 episodes we talked about how we weren't going to talk about bathroom stuff.
I didn't even bring it up. He was like, "Why do you feel so bad?" I don't know, boy.
Well, I was gonna say, like, there are definitely times where, like, you get, like, too much sleep and feel weird afterwards. I know I'm not the only person.
Yeah,
that
you
feels
could have
like
said
that.
you slept too long.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, don't make me roleplay whatever Cedric would say about periods. You don't know. Hey, we're going to do the thing with feathers.
The what thing with feathers?
We're going to get like a whole bunch of feathers and just do the thing with the feathers everywhere.
Are we gonna like kill some birds?
He's talking about what we need to put in the troughs, and he wants to do something with air, and I suggested maybe the people here keep supplies of feathers that are lost throughout the village, and so that could be a very easy supply of things to bring back up here.
So we're just gonna
a lot
like
easier to bring in than rocks.
That is true. We're just gonna like knock on people's doors and be like, "Hi, y'all have any feathers you just like dropped recently?"
No, we'll go to people we already have met, like Ija, and we have relationships with, and see is there a supply, or if they know someone we can go visit. The tailors, maybe, perhaps they make quilted garments for warmth if the winters get harsh in the mountains. Yeah.
What about the hunter or the leather armor maker people? I feel like the hunter will at least kill birds, right? These people eat birds, right? They don't have like a weird thing about eating birds. I mean, they are bird people.
I thought the same thing about eggs when we went to go get breakfast the other day. I was like, "Oh, we should get some eggs." I was like, maybe that's insensitive.
Do you think they have eggs? Do you think? Or
do you think they lay eggs?
Yeah.
Well, do they have a human anus or a bird cloaca?
We should ask.
Cheryl, we need to know. How do these people defecate?
Yeah, Sheryl, you just bitched about me about in-game periods, and now we're asking you about buttholes, so take that.
Okay.
How many exits do they have?
I feel like you guys have asked this question with like a whole bunch of the peoples on Arda, and every time I'm going to tell you, like, let's have a talk about it, because the monster manual doesn't tell me that. So I mean,
are they more like humanoid with wings, or are they like just kind of more bird-like overall?
They have Gary Gygax. Why is he not providing information about excretory systems?
They have arms, right? Their wings to their arms.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So they are not there. So their wings are not homologous structures
Yes.
with arms.
Yeah, I think they're more mammals.
Picture like an angel,
Like-
arms, legs, and also wings.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this came up in our mermaid conversation.
It did.
But do the women have breasts? I guess is the real question. I think the most obvious question that we would have.
Yeah, because so much in D&D, and we've talked about this before too, things that you're like, it's a race of, it's a people, but they're not humans, and they should have dragon, like the dragonborns, what are they called?
Dragonborn.
Dragonborns?
Yeah.
I was like, that's Skyrim. What am I talking about? They should be way more reptilian, but then all the depictions of them and people's drawings and everything, it's like, give them human anatomy. It's like, why would that be anything? So I've been wondering. I guess at first I was picturing them completely like birds, like large birds, like the
They're not Aarakocra.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
picturing them like Aarakocra.
Spoiler
But
alert,
now- so
there
now I'm
are
like-
also Aarakocra on Arda, but these are not them.
Yeah, okay. So I was picturing them as if they were built similarly to that,
Right.
but now I'm like, well, then how are they built?
Yeah. No. If you look up Raptoran, it's a person that just got wings stuck on, and then instead of hair, they have feathers. So yeah, it does not say in the flavor text about Raptorans whether or not they come from eggs. I did a quick keyword search and it did not come up. So you get to choose. Also, all of the art I found online, the ladies have boobs, but that's because most people draw all lady creatures with boobs regardless of what kind of creature they are. So...
Because they're all drawn by men.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's a feature of the human race.
Right.
Is that the males will sexualize anything that they can.
Right.
I would think they'd be all almost entirely human, besides wings and the feathers on the parts of their body where they have feathers.
That's kind of what I was.
So they're mammals with wings.
Yes, but not like bats.
But not like bats, yeah.
I like it.
It's a world of magic, and the nature gods did whatever they felt like.
So if the wings are evolved from with insects where you get another set of legs where insects have all those extra appendages that aren't legs but are just basically extra legs that get modified into a face thing that doesn't.
You mean all their mouth parts?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the antennae, and yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
everything.
Mhm.
So I can imagine an ancestral race where you've got a human species, human-like species, that then has a random mutation which causes a second set of arms to occur, right? Where you've got two sets of arms just through duplication of a segment.
This is like that Mortal Kombat guy, Goro.
Yes. And then with the second set of arms, you end up with a set of arms that has less function as for, brachiation or whatever arms are for. And then it evolves into wings. That makes sense to me. In the same way that wings evolved in birds where you have a set of limbs that you're not really using to walk on anymore because you're standing upright. And so they evolve into wings, or they evolved into tiny little Tyrannosaurus arms. And so they become vestigial or they become a set of wings.
Mhm.
Sarah in the chat suggests from the rib cage,
Oh.
because turtles made their shell out of the rib cage, and you have she specifically says dragons, but you have those flying dragons, little flying lizard things that basically have extra skin
Oh,
between their.
Well, having a patagium between your limbs or
That is
between
true.
your fingers like a bat is different, because
That
that's
is true.
not a separate. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because I put in the chat the question when you get these people with wings where they have arms and wings or whatever is always how do the shoulders work? And Sarah brought up dragons, and yeah, that's also a good question. Dragons have 4 or more legs and then also wings. A wyvern makes sense because a wyvern is just back legs and wings and no front legs.
Yeah.
But once you get 4 limbs or more than 4 limbs and then also wings, it becomes very complicated. How do the shoulders work? So
So they would have had to have it would have to have been like insects and like a repeated body segment, like Peter said, that then those became...
I don't like that.
I think
it
That's why they're so tall.
But
Yeah,
yes, exactly. That's why they're so tall. So they've got an extra like 4
and it became modified and compressed to the back, sort of over like the scapulae, and became their wings. So they would have had like a repeated body segment in their, I don't know what
like
segment,
that.
but that came into.
Yeah, it's like all their thoracic vertebrae are just duplicated. Yeah.
Cool.
Cheryl looks so upset about this revelation.
Didn't know we were gonna have to put a body horror tag on this.
I think it's cool.
I mean, it is cool. It's just also like, ooh.
Do you want us to talk about buttholes again?
No.
Well,
Yeah, I can swing back around to
Yeah.
demanding you tell us how they go to the bathroom. Oh, and Cheryl, what is the rock in this mountain?
Oh, yeah.
You sounded so serious at the beginning of that, and then I give up.
While we're on things that we always ask you and
Yeah,
make you
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about,
yeah.
what is this rock?
Let me do a Google while you talk about buttholes or something.
Yeah. If we dissolve this rock in a strong acid, what will be left behind?
It's got to be pretty hardy if they're living here and they've got these structures that like a granite or like a
Yeah, definitely not like a sandstone-y type.
or limestone. I don't feel like those would.
I don't know. You can build. I mean, they're naturally occurring limestone caverns, right? So
I guess they probably don't have acid rain, so they're not they wouldn't get really quick erosion of the.
Not yet.
limestone.
Just wait till the dwarves show up. Till more dwarves show up
and start polluting everything. Well, then Nautia's gonna come murder you.
It's true. Though she doesn't have a great track record with that.
Oh my goodness.
Still 0.
Wow.
Cold.
I mean, I'm the closest thing she's come to murdering a dwarf.
Since you asked, the rock of these
Technically
mountains.
take him out. I did kill him. I just didn't leave him dead.
That's true. She did.
Yeah, so it
She
balances
shot him in
out.
the
It's
back
still
with
0.
with an acid blob or whatever. Since you asked, the rock of these mountains is some of it is a very dark gray, and some of it is a much lighter gray with like speckles of black and gray and white in it. And those are the predominant rock colors you see. Since you asked. Okay, you didn't decide whether the Raptorans have buttholes or cloaca, but it sounds like we decided they're mammals, so...
I think we decided on buttholes.
Okay.
Yeah, buttholes.
Yeah, I think we...
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
I'm glad we got that out of the way. That was important.
It was, yes,
Cool.
yes.
Now we don't have to ask them.
It's never polite to ask anyone about their private parts.
Except that you did ask Rashidon.
Oh.
Remember? Because you were like, oh yeah, if we break off the stinger part of your tail, will you fill up with poop and explode? Because regular scorpions do that. You did say that to Rashidon.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Well, except that's not something Kay would know, so...
Mm-hmm.
And all of our charisma scores are now 6.
Now?
So
Okay, so...
I like to imagine all of our characters were just standing around awkwardly that whole time.
Yeah, you guys are having this whole conversation, and meanwhile, Naughty is outside just...
Probably
picking
happier.
berries.
Yeah, just running around. If my bird friend's around, maybe we're flying around in the mountains a little bit and just
You could absolutely...
just enjoying the morning.
Yeah, you could absolutely say that you've spent some time while you guys have been camped out here working with her to actually, like, turn her into an animal companion so you get those bonuses and things. Yeah.
Well, I guess after we, like, back in game, we, like, just talked about the feathers with Kay. Was it, well, do we want to try to do this as quickly as we can so we can start sorting out where we're headed next? Because I'll go look for Nautia.
Works for me. Yeah, do you
Sure.
want us to go into town and ask for feathers? You want to go look for Nautia?
Let's wait and have agreement from Nautia.
Good plan.
She's been out, I think, a lot more than most of us have been. She may have found something better to use. If maybe she has come across a better plant with some kind of property, or if we wanted to use rock, maybe she found a really good quarry spot where we could easily get enough. I don't know.
Also, the last time we went looking for feathers without Nautia, it did not end well.
That is true.
I mean,
We
met
did almost
Nautia,
die
so I
from
guess it ended
birds.
well, but
You weren't without Nautia during that.
Also, speaking of that, do you think that maybe if these bird people do have extra feathers, we could just like dye them red and pretend that they're actual like parrot-like feathers and then sell them anyway? It's not like they'd know, right?
Out of character, I bet it was Sawan, right?
Yeah.
I bet she would notice that immediately and probably murder us.
It's like those flowers Cindy was talking about. Blooms in season.
So in character, I think that's a great idea. We could probably totally get away with it.
Yeah, right? I think so. It's not like they know what they look like. And
Yeah, I
she
mean, all
just has
feathers look the same anyways, right?
pretty much.
Let's
Maybe we'll get extra points for really big feathers.
That makes
This
sense.
character,
Let's put a
she
pause
totally
on
wants
that.
magic feathers and can't detect magic.
It's not magic. It's
we have to
Die.
go back. We have to go back that way anyway. So let's put a pause on that, and maybe we can. Now that we know what we're looking for, maybe we can deal with that as we go back through the jungle. But I'm gonna go look for Nautia.
okay.
Like sidestep away and go outside.
I'm gonna have some leftover vegetable stew for breakfast because
What are you doing with all the pieces of meat you're picking out? Or are you just leaving?
Yeah,
them
you mean
on?
just
Kay
the
like holds her
vegetables?
plate out.
Yeah, that was definitely a whole pot of meat
Yeah.
involved stew with
Yeah.
some vegetables in it.
giving it to Kay.
Aw. Nadia, were you doing anything specific or going anywhere specific, or are you just out foraging?
Yeah, sort of how long have they now been sort of futzing?
A while.
Okay. Then I think I would just have been out there ostensibly foraging. At some point it turned into just playing with the bird.
Okay.
Because I sort of had a thought of like, oh, I could go ask my forager friend about magical things out here, but that seems like something I should do with Fletcher. So then I didn't.
Okay.
Do I see her when I walk outside? Is she far away?
She might be far away, but she'll be highly visible because she's bright blue and flying around with a gold eagle.
Oh, you went up in the air to do stuff
Yeah,
with your bird.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I just see two things
It's
flying.
been a while since I've been somewhere that I can safely just fly around.
That's true. I think I tried to I just see you and I'm like, I just start like waving my arms, hoping you'll like look down towards and I go in front of the bushes that are in front of the entrance and start trying to just like flag you down.
Yeah, I should pretty quickly see that and you're up and come back over.
Hey, everyone's up, and we're trying to decide what we want to do about this temple and
Okay.
the setup and what we want to use, and see if Kay could potentially communicate with somebody or something when we.
Oh, yeah.
when we
I
activate.
tried to do that last time. I was gonna go back and because you'd asked about like plants with like magical properties and stuff, and I was thinking of maybe going back and asking Braga about that. But I thought it'd be better if you went too, because like you would understand that stuff more than I would.
I definitely I would like to talk with him about that before we go, but we do have another idea that Cedric and I sort of came up with together that
Okay.
we want to, and I think I'll like kind of explain it to her as we walk back in about maybe we can find feathers enough, like maybe there's enough feathers from these people that they, keep aside for use in various things. I'm like talking to her about it as we go back up to the group, and I'm like, or there's a lot of rocks, or we can ask about plants we might be able to use if we want to go with a magical plant.
Might want to be sure that their feathers aren't, like sacred or something. But
we would definitely go and ask for, is that something that they keep or allow to be used for other purposes?
Yeah, it seems like a good idea. We need like a lot of feathers, right? Like a lot. Not like
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then I just walk back inside with you.
We got a wagon apparently. We need like a wagon load, right?
I mean, feathers, if we just need to fill the troughs, feathers are really fluffy. They take up a large volume. If you don't compress them, if we drop them in, they fill a large volume as they kind of lay on one another. That may be a benefit to us.
Maybe we can just lay them end to end. Maybe you don't need to actually fill the whole trough so much as put stuff in the trough.
Maybe just can make sure it's all connected to itself.
I'm pretty sure we have to fill the whole trough. I'm pretty sure that was a thing that we ran into in the first temple. We didn't actually fill it. Right?
I think that's what we tried with the oil.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of fire.
Yeah, and when we like lit it on fire and was like, and then that was it.
Yeah.
But also maybe it didn't last long enough or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I say we try the feathers, and then if it doesn't work, then we can light the feathers on fire and try that again.
That'll smell awful.
It's such a bad smell.
They might smolder for a little bit longer.
We could try maybe some of that like textile dye.
We would need a lot of that.
As opposed to a lot of feathers that literally come off of other things' bodies.
We're not going to talk about where dyes come from again.
I was just going to say, be like, and where do you think the dyes are coming from? Crushed up living things.
Definitely harder.
Maybe some minerals, but...
like there's more processing involved and just...
There might also be urine in them. What?
Oh, yeah.
What?
That is true.
Yeah. Mordants.
Yeah, urine's a good addition to a lot of dyes.
And somehow we're back to bathroom stuff. Anyway.
And we know that they do produce urine. Yeah. We decided that. They produce urine to get rid of their nitrogenous waste, so...
If they didn't, though, I mean, the uric acid crystals that birds produce would be a way more concentrated way to, like, haul a bunch of that up here. Then we can dilute that. It'd be a much more efficient way of getting a lot of urea, I think.
We're going to fill the troughs with urea.
Give me a minute to think of a bonus for that.
It's just turned into our entire day.
We would need to find we can find a bat cave and collect all the guano.
Then we'd be fertile from all the fertilizer.
All right, so we're gonna go ask some people for their feathers or what?
Yeah, if that's the first thing we want to try, I think we need to go to whoever we feel we can talk to the easiest and just find out if they do keep feathers and if they use them for anything.
There was that person that wanted to talk to us about the recall door. So maybe we could talk to them and then they could give us feathers and we could give them info.
I like it.
Was it Braga?
Braga was
What?
foraging.
No, Braga was Sue. So Sue wants to talk about
my
it.
note is Sue would want to, and then I did not finish the sentence in my notes.
I knew it was Braga or Sue.
Yeah.
Don't we have
it was
ADD?
Braga or Sue.
Yeah, Sue is the one who's been taking care of the temple, and she's the one that was sort of like, oh, you guys might want to try that.
We could go find Sue, and that way there's also sort of we provide information, you provide information. Like, we use? Would we ever be allowed to use feathers in that way? And are there any to purchase or trade for or anything?
Mm-hmm. So let's do that.
All right, I'm ready
Let's
to go.
find Sue.
Okay, so you're heading back down into the village area.
Mm-hmm.
And you get down there again. It's these people seem to either be like out away from the village or like in their rooms. Like there isn't a lot of time spent out in this like open space. Or are you just going to wait until you see someone? Are you knocking on a door?
Kay's gonna knock on a door.
We do know a couple doors.
You
We
do?
Yeah,
know,
we know a couple
we're
doors to work on.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you knocking on a random door or on one of the ones you know?
One of
the ones we know.
Not the hunter guy. He's not nice.
He's nice.
First of all, you've never met him. Second of
I
all, so if not Jarl's door, then whose?
Do we know Sue's?
She did not. You didn't spend any time at their home.
Okay.
The peppy textile lady.
Daddy McChats a lot. Definitely knows where everybody lives.
Because the other ones we know are going to be Braga and Tora and Lil, right?
Mm-hmm. Lil. She's the talky one.
Tora and Lil both work in the textile place.
So you've been to Isha's door and also met her father there. You've been to Petra Smoke Eyes' home because that's who let you cook your groundhog. And then yes, you were in Lil and Tora's home as well.
Yeah. Isha was also just very enthusiastic. We want to risk getting her dad instead of her.
I feel like we should go to Tora and Lil because we can. I mean, Cedric is now wearing their shirt, so we can show how much he enjoys his new clothes and make a better relationship with them when we ask where can we find Sue.
Yeah. That sounds fine.
Okay. So you're going to their door. So again, like the last time you went, Lil is sitting at a loom, and the door is open, so you can just sort of step into the doorway to speak to her.
Hey, Lil.
And she turns, oh, hello. You're back.
Yeah. We have a question.
All right.
She looks at Fletcher and Cedric.
Who left?
Who left?
No, I was totally expecting Fletcher to take lead on this.
I haven't met this person yet. So
Yeah.
I'm standing in the back.
Well,
do you
first,
know where
this is our
Sue
friend.
is?
I'm sorry, you both spoke at once. What was that?
Sorry. Do you know where Sue is?
I believe she's at home. That's 2 doors to the left.
Thanks. Yeah, she was asking us about the whole recall thing. Anyway, this is our dead friend who's not dead anymore. And he's look at how nice the clothes fit.
Oh, he's the one that you needed the clothes for.
Yes.
Are you pleased with them?
Yeah, it's a great look for him. It's much better than anything else he's ever been wearing.
Oh, I'm glad I could help.
So yeah, anyway, so we were gonna talk to Sue because she wanted to know how the whole thing worked, and we didn't actually know where she lived. So because We'll leave you to the weaving. Thanks so much.
Okay.
It's very nice to meet you. For the clothes.
Kate like walks out and goes 2 doors down and knocks on the door.
You guys are such chaos.
Of course, I could hear what was going on, but I had like the dog needed to go outside,
right.
so I had to jump up, and I'm like, and everyone's like, "Oh, we thought Fletcher was gonna do it." I'm like, "Oh my god, dog, go, go!"
Well, Kay officially ruined it for you. Congratulations.
Okay, so you knock on the door 2 to the left, and actually Braga opens it and sort of looks at all of you and, oh, hi, you're back.
Hi.
Did you need something else?
We were going to talk to Sue. She wanted to know about the whole door thing.
I'm coming. And she sort of, walks to the doorway and is standing next to him. Hi. And then
hi, this is our dead friend that's not dead anymore.
Yeah,
this is Cedric.
She registers there's 4 of you and is like, oh my goodness. Hello, Cedric.
Hi. I'm Cedric. Nice to meet you, I guess.
Yes, it's very nice to meet you. I'm so glad that your friends were successful. Would you like to come in?
Me too, very much so.
Kay just like steps in. Thanks so much.
So she like fusses and puts together, like basically she's making a kind of tea, you gather. And Braga sort of ushers you to a seating area. There's not like furniture, but they have some like sort of like thin cushions that you can sit on. And Sue brings over the drinks and is like, okay, I'm sorry for my curiosity, but would you mind telling me what was behind that door and how it worked?
Not at all. That's why we came. You were so interested in the door and said it. No one's ever been able to open it or know what's on the other side, and it was only because of your help that Cedric is here again.
Yeah, and it didn't really open, by the way. We kind of just like went through it with like, it was like stone. You like stuck your arm through it. It wasn't anymore. And you went somewhere else.
Well, we touched it. We just touched it and then we went through.
Well, yeah.
Touching it served as a teleportation to another place that initially was darkness and then formed into, don't quite know how to describe it. It sort of just a space, and there were sort of symbolic
trials.
Yes.
Symbols that we had to solve and piece together, and that all actually related to Cedric.
Yeah, they were all related to Cedric, like his favorite foods and like stuff that he said. And
wait, what?
Yeah, well, we told you we had to like remember you. We had to like remember certain things about you, like your favorite foods and like your hammer and like Morden and like hammers and the thing that you hammer stuff on. Good thing there were pictures, because I obviously would not have been very good at it otherwise.
So it quite literally took us to a space that challenged us to recall things about the person we wanted to bring back. And I assume
that's why it was called recall. I thought because we were like recalling Cedric and not like remembering. Wow, you're so smart, Fletcher.
Well, Kay, it really is both. You have to remember somebody to be able to bring them back. And if we had failed and we simply didn't know those sorts of things about Cedric, we probably wouldn't have been worthy to be allowed to bring him back.
It's a good thing he talks so much.
And that we listen 40% of the time.
Guys only listen to me 40% of the time?
I mean, 42% if we're going to be generous.
That's the friendship number.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? The friendship number. You see that? Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess if you're going to pick any number, it should be that number.
Right, it's a special number.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so we had to like remember stuff about him, and then we had to remember like a thing that he said about adventuring. He actually said it to me. And then we got into this room where there was like all of his stuff and his favorite soup, and I tried eating the soup, and I tried hitting him with a warhammer because he was like on the other side of this plane. But the other side of the plane, like we couldn't, he was like there, but we like couldn't get to him. But you like stick your arm through. So I tried like I tried offering him the hammer and he didn't take it. So then I tried hitting him with the hammer, which in hindsight probably wasn't a good idea. So then I ate his soup, and then Nautia was really smart and decided to call his name and like reach her hand through. And then he took it, and then he came back into the room, and poof, he was back to life.
So,
well, then we were back outside in the cave.
Yes.
But he was, well, his body was alive then.
Yeah, in the wagon. Poor kid. Maybe we should have moved him to the bed instead of just leaving his corpse in the wagon, but we didn't. So
we didn't know.
Cedric. We did not know, to be fair.
During that breathless explanation, Braga was just sitting back, like, dryly chuckling behind a hand, like, as Siw's, like, looking between all of you, like, trying to put this together. That's, very interesting. The texts are, very vague about what happens there, so I only knew that you would face trials if you were able to pass through it, but I'm very glad that you were successful and that you brought your friend back. And she sort of like her eyes linger on you for a moment, Cedric, and like, you must be someone important. I had a feeling.
I mean, Kay's kind of the important one.
Nuh-uh. Kay like puts her arm around Cedric. She's like, do you think I would have even made it this far without you? Come on.
I mean, I guess that's justification. Yeah, I'm like important in that I'm one of Kay's sidekicks. So,
well, I guess I meant that you all seemed important, and I mean, if nothing else, you're outsiders. But it does say that the door would only potentially work to retrieve the soul of an important person. I don't know how important is determined, but it seemed to have worked. You also were fortunate to arrive on exactly the right evening for it to have the best chance of working, so I suppose everything was in your favor.
Kay is like playfully punching Cedric's shoulder, and she's like, see, look at how important you are. Look at, like, dude, bro, sky god thing, hammers chose you. Look at you. You're so important. I knew it.
What was special about that evening?
It was the night of the full moon.
Oh,
It's probably why we got there so easily, because we had to like go up that big mountain pass. Imagine if we like couldn't see in that well. I mean, some of us can see fine, but like, one of us struggles a little bit.
Well, yes, so the text, while it's vague, it does say that the chance of the doorway opening increases with the strength of the moon and decreases similarly. So you attempting it on the night of the full moon was your best chance.
Maybe we can we can fill up the temple-y things, and it's still close to the full moon because we've only been here for like 2 days, right? So maybe we'll have like a better chance of it like doing something. Okay, so we've been to other temples like this, and there's like, in this one, this is the worship door. Well, in other ones, there's also that weird symbol like on the ground. I'm sure you saw it, right? I have it tattooed on my back. Anyway, so if we fill it up with random stuff, everything glows and it goes, and that's it. But maybe we never tried on the full moon. Although we entered one of the temples on a full moon, maybe the full moon is connected to all of them, because we did have one in the middle of like the desert or the grasslands, and there's like this full moon and these flowers appeared, and that's how you got into it. So maybe you do have to do all of them on the full moon.
How often is the moon full?
Once a month.
Remember, Sheryl refused to make a special calendar for us.
It's a 28-day calendar. The moon is full on the 10th day of every month. Go away.
Okay. So, wow. Okay.
No, you already went through all of this. We're not rehashing.
So
I see you trying to rehash.
So thank you. So when you started that whole bit, Kay, Sue was sort of saying the ceremony as if she was familiar, and then you said the part about having it tattooed on your shoulder, and her face just went like how I acted it out, right? Her eyes went super wide, and she's just sort of like looking at you now.
See, look at it. It's like right here. And she like pulls down her shirt a little bit so she can like see it. I woke up with this. I mean, I've had it since for like ever, I believe. I recently found out that I'm apparently like I'm like a celestial Asimar thing. That was weird because I thought I was like little old street Kate for a really long time. I have like this weird tattoo and this kind of glowing skin. And then like the last temple, we were allowed in. Normally you're not allowed in, but then there was this really cool old scorpion man thing. He was awesome, but said like, oh, you guys are allowed to come in here, I guess. And they like didn't trust us, but then we could go in and we solved all the trials. And that's what I learned, that I was like this asthma person thing. And like, I can read some of this weird script that we also found in one of the temples once.
Siw and Braga exchange a glance and she says, I suppose we were right about you. You are special people. So you say you've performed the ceremony before in other temples?
Oh yeah, we're at like, well, we did one in the rainforest, and then we did one like the desert one, and we did one in the grasslands, and now we're at this one. I think that's all of them.
Yep.
Yeah. The first one was really weird though, because like no one led us to it. I just like had this weird feeling that we were going the wrong way. And then when we walked the wrong way, like couldn't really breathe and it was really uncomfortable. So we just like walked in and then like Fletcher did some magic thing. And I was like connected to like a magic string to this random temple thing. It was the first note we found. And like we filled the troughs up with water and we stood on the pedestal and poof, it glowed.
Everyone
Kay went from never wanting to talk about these things to just full on jumping out everything that has happened to her relating to all of this.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so she's like looking really hard at you and looks back over the rest of you and is like, and it's worked? The offering has disappeared? And
yeah, the offering disappeared.
And
disappears, there's a light, and that's seems to be all that really happens.
That's what I said, the whoosh.
There's kind of a feeling, kind of a like good tingly feeling that happens.
Yeah, you feel like
what was that? Okay.
Like you want to hit yourself in the chest. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like pumped up, man. It's like when you go to like the sports things. Remember when we went to the sports thing with the mantis guy who was really awesome? We were like cheering in the stadium. It's like that feeling.
Oh yeah. That's about
Kate,
that seems right.
Kate, you like felt, but you felt like more, right? In the center?
I don't know. How would I know if I felt more than anyone else? I thought we all just felt the same thing.
What was it like on the pain index?
That I see is different from the blue that you see.
Mm-hmm.
You mean? I don't know.
Well, because we tried in that one to do it like a second time,
and that didn't work. Yeah,
but that was because you were gonna try to communicate or something.
Oh yeah, that did not work.
It didn't.
We also tried it with one of us in the center that was not Kay, right? And it did not work.
It didn't work.
Well, that makes sense.
Does it make sense?
Well,
wait, why does it make sense?
Considering what I've read, and if she really is an Asimar and has that symbol marked on her, and you don't know where it came from or you don't remember it appearing?
No, I'm not sure if you've heard of this town. It's called New Seychester. I thought it was a good town, but then I keep visiting all these other towns that seem a lot better. And now I think New Seychester, like Cedric said, is kind of a shithole. Anyway, but yeah, I just like woke up there on the side of the street one day, and then my parents, well, my foster parents adopted me, and they gave me the name K because it's a letter, like a letter of the alphabet. And so all my siblings that are all foster children are all letters of the alphabet. So I just thought I was some nobody for a really long time.
It took her like a month to tell us that.
This is all very interesting. I
mentioned texts a couple of times. Sorry to interrupt Kay's info dump, but what texts are these? And I'm sorry if you explained to everybody else while I was dead, but are there?
I wasn't.
Oh, wait, Cedric, tell her about the thing that was written on the ceiling. There was a thing written on the ceiling, and she like pulls out her journal and like flips through it. Explain the thing while I find it. She's.
Do you want to go first? Because I can explain the thing, but you were just going to tell me about the text, and I hear about the text first.
Well, it sounds like you haven't been in the training room then.
Yeah, I mean, I looked in there, but it had a bunch of books and stuff in there, and so I kind of figured Fletcher would know if there were any important ones.
You want to know about the text, but you don't want to read it in the books.
Kay like found the thing in her journal, and she's like, "Look, this is what we found. It was glowing on the ceiling in like some kid's bedroom in one of the other temples." And she like,
I don't remember. Did you wrote it down in Celestial, right?
Right, but then I also wrote the translation next to it.
Okay.
I wrote both.
So she takes a moment to read it and is like, I know you're probably still tired, but I think I might have something that could help you. How do you feel about going through another trial? And that, I think, is where we will take our halfway break.
Oh!
Ooh.
Yes, I got one. I never get them. Woo. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna go take our halfway break and get some more water or whatever. Let the dog out. And we'll be back real soon. Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. Bye. We're back. Some of us sound like we don't want to be back. We're back anyway. We are back anyway. Okay. So, for those of you who might have forgotten where we were in the last 12 minutes,
where are we? Who am I?
The group
Who are
was
you people?
info dumping on Siw and Braga Starcrest, the Raptoran village elders, about all the things that they've done, not just in this temple, but in all of the others. And Siw was getting very excited because she seems to understand sort of what's going on, because she read the text in the training room, even though the DM kept giving you the opportunity and kept describing the training room, and nobody wanted to go in and read the books. So Siw has read them.
The last time we looked at books, they were moldy, and then our friend died because we lit them on fire. So sorry if we are not so excited to read the moldy, shitty books.
Anyway.
I'm just not much of a book person.
Fletcher had read them.
Yeah, we'll just blame Fletcher.
I did spend a lot of time in there, but I was doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't reading what was already in there.
That is true. In any case,
good thing our DM is so benevolent that she has multiple ways to give us the information.
In any case, Siw has just said to you, how would you feel about going through another set of trials?
I think there's a moment of silence while we all like look at each other.
Is there a risk of anybody dying or being lost again or anything like that associated with this? Because we've been through trials like that.
I mean, I would imagine that most trials have some element of danger to them, or they wouldn't be trials, right?
Maybe we could just go back through the recall door. It worked so well the first time.
Is there like a sand waterfall? Because I really liked those. We were assured no death.
Yes. We were assured no death in that one. And then he said we wouldn't get hurt either. But then, like, I touched this magical force field and I definitely got hurt.
Oh,
so.
he totally then was like, I can't save you from yourself.
Kay does not remember that part.
Of course, yeah. Well, I can't give you any guarantee of anything like that, but the trial that I'm going to suggest you attempt is something that almost everyone here in the village has done successfully.
So that is encouraging. Do you need wings to do it? We are decidedly wingless except for one of us.
I think it can be done without wings, especially because you all seem well, you've obviously come a far way and done some incredible things, so I think you should be able to do it without wings. It is, so I'm not suggesting that you do it in exactly the same manner or for the same reason that all of us do it. In our society, we have a trial called the Walk of Four Winds that every Raptoran needs to complete before they are able to fly. Well, the reason I'm suggesting you follow the path that is taken during the Walk of Four Winds is because something was lost there by someone from our village a while ago, but I think that item might help you in the work that you seem to be doing for us.
And it's
That's very interesting.
Do it. Like, no one's gonna be offended if we do your.
Well, like I said, you're not going to be doing it for the same reason or in the same way that any of us would, but it sounds like you have some strong connections to the gods and might be doing some sort of work to help us all reconnect with them. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the idea of relics of the gods, gifts that they gave to different peoples. But
yeah,
our group had one such relic, but it was lost by someone on the Walk of Four Winds and has never been recovered. But if you were able to find it, it would probably be useful to you.
Yeah, that would be amazing. What is the relic, and of which god is the relic?
So Elana gifted someone a long time ago in our group a small pouch made of fur with a metal buckle holding it closed, and inside there are 3 acorns, but those acorns contain Elana's magic, and they can be asked to do extraordinary things when you need.
Cedric, show her the little, remember the box thing you got with that like dude's face on it? Maybe that's also important. You've still got it in that little backpack of yours, don't you?
I mean, it's kind of back on the wagon. Oh, all my stuff is still on the wagon. Been doing the whole like no backpack thing since I came back, but I can go get it. You guys?
Yeah, it's fine. It's like a little box and has some leafy person's face on it.
You mean a symbol of Obadai? Like a talisman?
Yes.
I've seen things like that before. If it's what I think you're describing, they're little talismans or symbols that were just made by people as sort of worship aids, I suppose, is one way of putting it. Those are not things that were gifted to someone by one of the gods.
Cedric, will your god be mad at you if you like have that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't care about stuff like that.
I don't know. People care about stuff like that. I don't know. Just thinking.
Can you describe any of the sort of contents of this trial? Is it, I mean, where do we start, and is it simply a difficult journey, or is there something else involved along the way that adds to the trial?
Well, the path for the journey begins just above the doorway to the temple that you've been in and ascends the peak of Belukako Tuturo, the evening peak above us. And I cannot say more than that if you'd wish to test yourselves, although I suppose that since you are not doing it for the same test, I can tell you that there are some targets that you will need to hit in order to lower bridges across gaps in the path. And there are also gaps in the path over which there are no bridges. Those are normally where someone from our group would practice flying. I suppose for you all, you'll have to figure out another way to cross them. I know. More gaps and vertical surfaces.
We're super good at those.
You're in the mountains.
Literally our worst thing.
Okay, you're in a wilderness adventure. Like, I can't get rid of this as an obstacle for you. I'm sorry.
I keep feeling like I should have put more points into climb or something.
Yeah, we're like the worst Outward Bound crew ever.
We need someone who's just really good at parkour.
It's okay. Yeah. Kay and Fletcher are very close to leveling up, so you can put some points in climb when you do that.
Oh, good. Is that going to help us on this trial when we fall to our deaths trying to get some magic acorns? Do we look like squirrels to you, Sheryl?
I don't think you want the answer to that.
I mean, we did spend a large part of the last episode eating nuts and berries.
And you're all little nuts.
Yes.
It was too easy.
So there's a path, and we have to follow the path until the end of the path.
Well, I have no idea where the pouch was lost. Like I said, it was lost a long time ago, and no one who has completed the trial since has found it. I have no idea where it might be along that path, but we know that a person went up with it and came down without it.
Well,
it'll be at the bottom of the canyon we get stuck in.
Yeah. If it's at the bottom of a canyon, we will spend plenty of time down there looking for it.
What were you asking, Kay?
How long is a long time ago?
A generation ago or so.
How long are your generations? If they're water methods, that could be like 1,000 years.
Like 70 years.
Cheryl's explanations get more and more curtain. Do you have any more info about just like the temples in general? I mean, you said that you were like taking care of this temple for a while, and it seems like, I mean, you're the person so far that we've met that seems to know the most about them. Like, you knew about the ceremonies. We didn't even know that. We just like figured it out somehow eventually.
Yes. Well, so all of the temples, to my understanding, have a room where the ceremony can be performed. And this is all out of a text that is basically a instruction.
How many temples are there?
Manual for someone like you, I think, Kay. I don't know how many.
Someone like me?
Yes. I don't know how many temples there are, but the training room, I believe, was perhaps to train people like yourself to participate in or work in or serve in the temples. So the ceremony was intended to create a momentary link between the faithful and either the mother or the father. And the first time a worshiper participates in the ceremony at any given temple, they receive a boon from the gods. And during that connection time, the faithful can also briefly communicate with whichever god they've connected to.
It's like a second, though. Like, what can you possibly say in a second? I mean, Cedric can say a lot in a second. I don't know.
You're the one that does the info dumps, Kay.
I mean, communication doesn't have to be spoken words, does it?
We were gonna try that this time.
Were we?
Yeah. Remember we tried it last time, but we tried it the second time we tried to do it? We could try it again this time.
I think, Kay, every time it's your first time in a temple and we do this, we might have a chance for you to either project out a message or receive something from Alana and Obadai.
We gotta try it.
What do you want me to say?
Well, we can figure that out
I
later.
mean, anything would be good, really. It's the connection that's important.
Am I just supposed to like listen? Are they gonna talk to me?
I think you should be projecting a question like, where are you? Or what happened? Or are you there?
Mhm.
Or maybe thanks for bringing our dead friend back?
Always a good start.
Couldn't hurt.
You can, with a god, you can do a lot with a second, and they could let you know a lot. Our second is not their second.
I mean, also just we haven't been able to communicate for a long time now. Anything at all would be huge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We could
Just,
know for sure whether the gods were still alive or not.
If it's possible to connect to them.
I mean,
Just
do you
a
think
hello
that the
would
gods
be
are
huge?
Do you think the gods are still there? Or do you think this is just some like residual leftover magic
No,
stuff?
they're still there, but I mean, it would be nice to have information.
Sue, do you know, would there even be a reaction in these temples any longer if the gods were truly gone versus just missing from the world and their connection being weakened? If they were completely gone, would the temples even work?
I have no idea. The manuals don't say anything about that.
They probably weren't planning on this happening, huh?
I can't imagine so.
Well,
Maybe we can do the ceremony first and the trial second, because if she's saying that we get like a buff or like a thing, then maybe we can like fill the stuff up with a thing or maybe we'll just get a thing and that'll help us do the trial.
But
So,
the
we
trial
don't
might
fall
also
into a
give
canyon
us-
and die.
But the trial might also help with the ceremony.
Hey, do you people do the ceremony?
No?
I think it will only work properly for Kay, Cedric. With her connection as an Aasimar,
That makes sense.
I believe,
Yeah.
especially with how missing or weakened the gods are, I think it takes that special connection to
Mm-hmm.
get anything to happen.
Does it say in the texts what you're supposed to put in the trough?
Yes.
And is it air?
Oh, we tried water, we tried fire, and we tried dirt. We tried dirt.
Sand.
Whatever. Sand's a special kind of dirt, whatever.
Uh,
You think all vegetables are the same, so like all dirt is the same to me. Call it even, okay?
I mean, it's not though.
Don't you remember in the Stone Teeth you had an argument about different dirt? Sue says, well, to the best of my understanding, any offering from nature that's deposited in the troughs can be used to allow the conduit to complete the ceremony.
Cool. Well, that is convenient.
Kay like nudges Fletcher and I was like, are you gonna ask her about the thing?
I don't feel like hauling in all a bunch of rocks, so
Sue, on that topic, since we need to fill these troughs with items, Cedric wanted to. So far, what we've offered has been along the lines of earth, fire, and water, and we were thinking of something aligned with air, especially given where we are and following along with the basic elements within our material plane. We didn't know if feathers could be a possibility, so we wanted to find out if your people allow anyone to use your feathers, if you keep your feathers, or if that would even be a possibility, because we certainly don't want to do anything offensive to you. There's a lot of other materials around we can use, but this was something we had already sort of been discussing.
I appreciate the care with which you framed that question. I do not mean to disappoint, but our feathers are a very personal thing, and so that is not something that we can share with you. Out of character, when you guys first started discussing that, what I immediately thought of was the Native American Feather Depository. So I worked at a facility with non-releasable birds of prey, so they'd been injured in some way and couldn't be released back into nature. And yeah, they shed feathers, but we had to collect all the feathers when we were cleaning their enclosures and put them in like a certain place. And when there were enough feathers, they put them in a box and like shipped them off to this place that's in the west. And apparently, like, that's, you know, because it's illegal for any one person to own pieces of birds of prey because they're protected. But Native Americans are allowed to use those feathers for ceremonial items. And so, like, when a facility like that has birds and they have all those feathers, they can't just do whatever they want with them because it would be illegal, but they can ship them to this, basically a warehouse where then Native American tribes can come and access materials to make ceremonial items. So that was immediately what I thought of when you guys started talking about asking for them for their feathers.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, unfortunately, the Raptorian's feathers are a personal thing, so...
Then I appreciate you letting us know that. And then we need another, I guess, abundant and easily transferred into the temple material to use. We were considering stone from the mountain, but that may be quite a labor. Is there
some plants?
Yeah, if there's any particular plant you might recommend. Nautia here has become very efficient at recognizing many of them around here, thanks to Braga.
And he nods and he's like, yeah, you were a fast learner. It was good. I mean, what sort of plants are you looking for? There are lots of trees with leaves. There are lots of things growing in the ground. There are mushrooms. There's leaf litter. It sounds like from what Sue said that you could put basically anything that's from nature in there.
I feel like it'd be disrespectful to put like moldy leaves in it, though, maybe. And now I'm questioning whether we should have even put dirt in it.
I mean,
it's sand.
Books.
It's all part of the local environment. It's all just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
leaf litter is super important.
Yeah, I don't think that leaf litter would be disrespectful. Decomposition is part of what happens here.
Is there a particular plant that you associate with either a magical sort of quality or perhaps a restorative that you use for making particular things for healing? I know many plants are used for breaking fevers, upset stomachs, especially medicinal, that could be, perhaps an extra special offering that we could make with something, that important.
Well, there's lots of stuff like that out here. If you're looking for something healing, feverfew is a good choice. There's also bloodroot. It's not exactly medicinal, but it is blood simulating, I suppose, or resembles blood. It is kind of poisonous. There's also lots of lion's mane fungus around here, and that can be useful for mental acuity, I guess. Lots of magical, or, can contribute to magical things growing here.
Maybe we can just get a bunch of all of that stuff and put it in.
I think that those sound like probably our best options, and we'll decide. And I guess we also need to decide on what we're going to do first, whether we're going to walk onto the trial or enter the temple again.
Oh, Sue, do you want to come see the ceremony? I mean, you've read about it a lot. You're invited.
Is that all
I mean, I
right?
guess it's your temple. I guess you're always invited. But, I mean, it's thought if you wanted to see it, because you read about it, you could come.
Yeah, it works with someone in the room that's not participating.
Yeah, I was in the room once when we did it, and I didn't participate, and I didn't die or anything. But
Yeah, so you could see it.
Well, I also wouldn't want to intrude on what you all are doing, but
You're invited.
Well,
I appreciate
you've taken
that.
I am the
good care
chosen
of it.
one, apparently, and
I'm
I
curious.
have chosen you to come join
Oh,
us.
she likes it all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The chosen one.
Yeah. Having one of your close friends die and then be resurrected is apparently a transformative.
Who'd have known?
That's fair.
Who'd have known?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, I'd be very interested to see how it's done.
Yes, come with us.
All right.
Well, we got to gather a bunch of plants first. So,
Oh, we do have to gather a bunch of plants first.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to help,
Sure.
We can. I guess we can head out now if we want to perform the ceremony first.
I think we should perform the ceremony first because she's saying that it gives us a thing, and we are not so good at trials, and we are definitely not so good at cliffs. I'm just saying, I'm not so good at cliffs. Have we done okay? I was at the bottom of
done
a
okay,
cliff for
Nadia.
3 hours. Maybe you did okay because you can fly, but
Yeah,
some
the
of
flying
us-
one has done okay.
I mean, and she gestures at Cedric and she's like, we did okay on the last one.
that's true. That's because there weren't any cliffs. Were there cliffs? I wasn't there for some of it.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
The one where the trial where they brought me back.
The trials to get Cedric back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there weren't cliffs. What were there for you, Cedric? You actually didn't. You haven't told Sue about what you experienced.
I remember climbing something, but I don't think it was very difficult.
Didn't you say there were stairs that
Yeah, there were stairs, so it was easy.
broken?
What?
You were not making a lot of sense yesterday.
Well, it's really foggy, you know?
You were dead, to be fair. No offense.
Yeah. And parts of it were foggy. But yeah, I think there maybe I had to do trials, but I don't really remember any of the specifics of them. But I do remember a broken staircase, and an underground, and there being other dwarves there, and the dragon. I remember there was a small dragon.
It sounds like he was just sleeping.
I still love that you've got parts of basically your death confused with the afterlife.
It's right, but they're similar.
It makes perfect sense. It's so good.
Well, while Cedric is working on his memory, maybe we can find some plants.
Yeah. Go find some plants.
Okay. So are you guys looking for a large volume of one of those things that was mentioned? Are you looking for something else? Are you just gathering a bunch of different assorted medicinal plants and dumping them in the troughs?
I think we're doing that. That seems like the easiest, right? Because then you'd have to lurk for just all one. But if you just get like medicinal plants in general,
A good plan.
Yeah, I think the mix of various things that Braga mentioned.
okay. Here's a random fact. So in Cuyabeno, which is in the northern Amazon of Ecuador, there's this fungus that's really common. It like grows out of dead logs, and the people there use it. They break it open. There's a little liquid inside, and they use it to treat ear infections.
Oh.
Interesting.
That's my hint.
Huh.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's my random semi-related fact.
It's related. Since you are all looking for this stuff, and only Cedric and Nautia were actually given instruction on it beforehand in any way, everybody can make survival checks individually, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, I was just gonna say Kay was just like pulling up fistfuls of whatever kind of looks similar to whatever.
I was figuring we were gonna like break into teams.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
We're like,
yeah. I was gonna say I was gonna probably go like with Nautia
Okay.
to like learn and point out things.
And
Otherwise,
I'll
we'd
take Kay.
be coming back with like we have no idea what to go collect out here.
Okay, all right, yeah. So if you're breaking into teams, then I'll say that, let's see, Nautia, you probably have the highest survival, is that right? You have a +4.
And Sue is coming with us. She knows
Yeah.
her plants.
Well, Braga knows them better than her, but yes. But between the two of them, they can help you.
All right. This is the new dice. Let's see if they deliver.
Okay.
An 11? Okay. It's 2 digits. I'll take it. That's a 15.
Okay. Plus help from your friends and help from Siw and Braga. Yeah, you're able to, and you might use your wagon to
Hey.
collect this large, and Braga is very conscientious of making sure that you don't harvest all of anything from any one spot. So he sort of like supervises how much you're collecting and then moves you to different patches.
Yeah.
So it takes you a little while. But eventually you fill the wagon, and as you are doing this and moving around, because it takes you a while, you can see that like the day is progressing, but also the sky is getting cloudier. So it looks like the weather might be changing a little bit, but yeah, you now have a wagon full of medicinal plants and mushrooms.
All right. Well,
let's just go dump it in that trough then.
sounds like a plan.
And we'll wheel it up to the temple.
I'm much happier that this wagon is full of plants, though, and not Cedric's dead body.
Not dead body, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot lighter, too. You're surprisingly heavy for being,
He's dense.
smaller
Yeah,
than you.
I'm dense.
In more ways than one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess good thing my armor's gone, because that would have made me even heavier.
Uh-huh.
Well,
There is an armorer here in town,
There is.
in the village.
Really? There's a blacksmith in the village?
No, but they make other kinds of armor.
Yeah, our son-in-law makes armor. Son-in-law, I don't know if they would have a concept like that. You know what I mean, because you did meet their daughter earlier.
I did such a bad job of writing down all the characters the first time. I'm now like adding notes.
It's okay. You met Petra, and she very briefly said that Siw and Braga are her parents, and she's the one that told you her husband is the armorer. Yeah.
do you want to go get armor, Cedric?
Well, we can do this first. I don't need armor for this. And honestly, I'm kind of enjoying walking around. I feel so lightweight, you know?
Yeah, you look really free.
I know.
And there's not this annoying jingly jostle every time you're around.
Hey, beautiful sound.
Okay, it was useful. It was like putting a bell on a cat.
Yeah. So we don't lose him. Like that one time when we lost him and had to go find him again. It's fine.
I don't know that a bell would have helped, but, you know.
It makes it easy to keep track of little things.
Oh.
Cedric is like just confused. I don't think he is like, maybe he's seen a cat before, but has no idea what you're talking about with putting a bell
I
on.
feel like he makes enough noise on his own anyway.
That is true. He's not even quiet when he sleeps. Anyway, we should fill up the stuff because
I used to have a
trying to be
signal
nice.
whistle.
Oh, yeah, you gave the metal whistle to Koi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, Sheryl, I love that you mentioned that it's getting cloudy and like
Yes.
I've got a nice thunderstorm rolling in right
Oh,
behind me.
sweet. Way to go, me.
Perfect.
I got
I guess since,
1 out of 4 people's weather correct. Anyway, sorry.
There we go.
with the like bushes and everything like in front of the entrance, we're all just like grabbing armfuls of all these like aromatic medicinal plants and walking them over in there and putting it all down in the troughs.
Yeah, so you fill the troughs. It smells interesting in here. There's a lot of different smells competing.
Smells like a spice shop, right?
Kind of,
It's a
yeah.
great smell.
Yeah. Okay, I go once the troughs are full. And Siw and Braga, is Braga here or is it
Yeah,
just Siw?
they're both here. They're just sort of
so-
Yeah, you can-
standing quietly on the side with their hands clasped in front of them, just watching.
So Kay, before we all step up onto the platforms, I think you need to be solely concentrating on the messages you want to try to send out.
Okay. What do you want me to send out? Where are you? Or where do we go next? Or all of them? Can they answer more than one question? Is this like an and or is this like an and?
I think
Or just an or?
you can send out as much as you can try to, and they'll answer what they can. It might be one answer. It might be they might just tell you what they need you to know. The same thing
I
works.
could ask them. I could see what we're supposed to do next, right? Because then if I get an answer, that's like answering 2 questions. Because if I get an answer, that means that they exist and they got the question and they answer the question that I asked, right?
That tracks?
Yeah.
So are you ready to just that needs to be the only thing on your mind?
Mhm.
Sure, I'm so ready. This is like Cedric's thing. He talks to the gods all the time.
Yeah, but I
But-
don't ever expect an answer.
Just
But you're like good at talking to them. I have to like only concentrate on that and somehow like project it out all in like a second while standing on a pedestal and like I don't
No,
know, it seems
just
like a lot.
it just needs to be what you're having flow across your mind as you get up on that pedestal. You already have this connection. We've seen it in 3 other temples so far.
Yeah, but that was like before I knew who I was. So like I don't know, it feels different now. It feels like there's like a lot more pressure. Like what happens if they don't respond to me? Like was it my fault? Am I bad at this? Do I need to
No.
practice more?
no. Just think
No,
you've
Remember,
already
the loss happened. So there's like a very good chance that this just won't work.
Okay. And you won't be mad at me
Long
if it
shot.
doesn't work.
So no pressure.
no.
But
Just-
how will
Okay.
like
Just
what am I
try.
supposed to feel? Have you all like talked to someone like a god before and like felt something? Like will I just know or like
You
All right,
don't
whatever.
know. It's okay. It's okay not
Okay.
to know.
okay. All right.
yeah, it will all be new, Kay, but we'll figure it out together. Just like when you were feeling the pull to the first temple and
Oh yeah.
all these things that have happened, they haven't happened to anyone else before. So we just have to put out your message and and see what happens.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
Hey.
So Kay like takes a really Kay takes like a really big deep breath, and she is very much trying to like, because she was like, okay, I don't have to say things, I just have to like feel things. She's like, I could probably feel things in like a second. So she feels like a lot of gratitude that Cedric is back. She like really tries to focus on like feeling gratitude that Cedric is back. She also tries to feel very hopeful about like the future, and like in that hopeness is like kind of like what's next, right? If that makes sense. So she like tries to feel all of those things at once. The biggest one being grateful that Cedric is back. Because if she can talk to the gods, she wants to say things that he's not dead.
Okay.
And so yeah, she takes like a deep breath and she like stands on the pedestal.
Okay. Is everybody else up on there too?
Yeah.
Yes. I imagine it very dramatic that we're all like, we're like standing there and Kay gets on, and we all like step on up at the same time and see what happens.
So you take a breath, 2 breaths, and you can hear the blood pumping in your ears, Kay, and the symbol lights up, and for everybody else the same thing as normal happens. For Kay, there's a moment of time dilation that she didn't just exaggerate out of her own brain like normal, where like, if I don't know if you kept your eyes open or if they're closed while you're doing this.
She closes her eyes when she like stands on it, and then has like one eye open, like, is it working?
Okay. So both your opened eye and your closed eye for a moment see. It's difficult to describe because it's just sort of nothing, and it's difficult for you to comprehend, and the things that you are feeling or trying to communicate, it's also strange because they're not words, and yet somehow you feel them echoing as if you were transmitting them in a big room and they were sort of bouncing off of hard walls. But that is for a moment, but then, like I said, for everyone else, the symbol lights up, the stuff disappears, you feel struck through with energy. Na-na. And for choosing a potpourri of medicinal plants, y'all get a +1 to your constitution score.
Whoop.
Whoa!
So if it has,
I like that. Okay.
if it has rolled
a
you
permanent
over,
+1.
yeah. So if it has rolled you over to the next even number, that means fun stuff happens.
It did. It
Yeah.
rolled me over to the next even number.
Okay, so that means you get more hit points now. It means you get more, it means your fortitude save goes up. It means all of your skills go up because your con bonus has gone up if it is over to the next even number.
That puts my con score at 14.
Lord.
Yeah, me too.
Hey.
This character is so broken.
It's fine.
It's so good. It's so good. Int 6, wisdom 10.
But you're
Strength
really,
14.
really tanky. All right.
I have written this in permanent pen, so that's gonna be a inch to fix later.
Oh yeah, those stats are all pencil stats.
Well, I thought it only goes up when you level up, so like all of that stuff is,
Oh well, yeah. If you're gonna rewrite it when you level up.
is in like permanent pen, and then all the other things are in like erasable pen. And
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, like those stats, you will have the opportunity to level them up sometimes.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's what you get. You medicined yourselves.
Amazing.
So yeah, like Kay like turns around, kind of like, did you all like feel the weird emptiness?
No, it was all normal for us, Kay. So
No,
it was
time
different
like
for you.
stopped for a second, and then like emotions were really loud and like very echoey and like bright, but nothing bright. It was somehow both bright and nothing and loud all at the same time.
No, it's just the room. Like the trough lit up when everything went away, right?
Kay like turns around to Braga and Siw. Didn't you feel like the loud nothing emotion pulsating brightness?
No, we watched all of you get up on the pedestals and we saw the symbol light up and all of the things in the troughs disappeared.
Okay, so imagine that I'm not crazy, because I might be, because like I know that sometimes if you really want something and you think something has happened and it's really nothing, but then you like associate that it was like actually a thing. My brother Jay told me about that once when I was like really excited about like fortune telling and palm reading or something. Anyway, so but like assuming it's not that, does that mean it worked? Like, I mean, it was a very loud nothing. Like, they didn't give me an answer. But, like, maybe it was like a thing happened, and so we are still here. But then again, maybe it was nothing.
I think all that tells us, Kay, is you definitely had a moment in which you could communicate out a message. We don't have confirmation if it was heard.
If it got there? Okay.
If they were there, if they were available.
The emotion
but you definitely
was like
had
really
a moment.
Weird. It was like pulsating and like bright and like bouncing off of stuff.
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds like nature.
I don't know. I didn't know what that means either, because like I didn't say words. I just felt stuff. Siw was really great and saying like you can commune with such like feelings. Maybe I should try and say something next time, because like it was kind of like a big internal thing. So maybe that's why no one else saw anything, because it was like internal, right? But maybe if I actually like said something next time, maybe the echoey thing would happen with words and everyone would hear it.
Or it was a direct connection, and we would not know anything you were doing, Kay, and we don't know if it worked or not, but we know you're able to get a message out, and maybe it wasn't heard, or maybe it's delayed or weakened because of the loss, and perhaps you might get an answer by the time we find the next temple. Perhaps you'll have a dream. You seem to get communications through dreams. Perhaps the response will be delayed. We just don't know yet. But you did your best and you got a message out there.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence. Let's go try not to fall off some cliffs, I guess.
Yeah. Also, I don't know about you guys, but I feel great.
Yeah, I feel like pretty good now that you mention it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the best that I felt since I was dead.
Yeah, I
definitely feels better
too.
I don't feel too bad about having to go do this hike, which is weird.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that bad, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got this. I'm glad we did this first.
They're about to have a "We Are Golden Gods" moment, aren't they?
I think I'm going to turn to Siw and say, some of these texts that you have in the training area, would I be able to perhaps even just borrow some on our journey down the path so that I can review these, perhaps take notes? It all seems like extremely valuable information for Kay. I can, of course, return them upon our return so that you still have them within the temple.
I mean, the temple belongs to everyone here. And she gestures her arms wide in a way that you take to mean not just this village, but like everyone on Arda kind of thing. So I see no reason why you couldn't.
Fletcher takes really good care of books too. So.
He does.
Yeah.
He takes better care of books than his friends.
Wow.
If you have a moment before we head down the path and you head back to the village, if you could point out any texts in the room in particular to me that you might think would be the most useful, I would greatly appreciate that.
Of course.
I'll walk in there and she'll just like, so she can point out a couple that are like probably the best to look over, so I have something while we're out.
Kay shouts like, don't we have books from like that first temple or something from like a long time? Show her the random books that we have. I don't have them because books, but like someone has them.
Are you just like shouting this as we leave?
Yes, she just like shouts it down.
Like it's like, that book is just about the jungle, Kay.
No, there's other books. There's like the red one and the one that's dwarvish but not dwarvish. There's like the books.
There's the
Who has the other books? I only have my book.
You have the field guide.
Yeah.
And I think the field guide might have been the one that was written in the Dwarven alphabet.
Yeah, because I can read it when I use comprehend languages.
Yeah.
So it's just about life in the jungle.
And
there's the one that was locked. There's the one that was about the demon tree, or right.
A demon bear like trapped in the tree, under the tree.
Right. And then
because that one was like legends and stuff, right?
Yes. So the one that you're thinking of, there were a few stories in it written kind of in a just so stories kind of way, like for kids.
Yeah.
That one was written in the same script as Elvish is written in. So
yeah, that's the one I could read. I
know Lucanus had it in his possession. You never really discussed in detail what you did with Lucanus's possessions. I sort of assumed that you guys kept all of the important things.
We did. Yeah. I think we did actually specifically discuss that at some point.
We have established that we're anti-book burning unless the books are not useful anymore.
Yeah.
So we did not burn the book, at least.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I have the book.
Kay would not have the books.
I have the Life of the Zub written in.
I think
I have that one.
Fletcher
okay, so I must have the other ones then.
Yeah,
so.
I think you have the other one then. Yeah. Because too many books and Nautia can't fly.
Right.
Yeah.
At least until she finds a bag of holding.
I think we established that basically Cedric is carrying everything that no one else can carry.
Hey, at least you only have one tent now.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, Fletcher, Sue sort of shows you, again, the shelves are not like full of stuff, but there are a few books like the ones you've already found, so like a field guide or two, some storybooks and some like storybooks and for like kids, and then also like versions of those stories like in a more scripture like grown-up format. And then there are some instructional books on medicine, leadership, magic, and the ceremony and the recall door. There's text about. So again, the ceremony, she mostly told you the gist of that, but when performed, the ceremony can create a momentary link between the faithful and either the mother or the father. The first time a worshiper participates in the ceremony in any temple, they receive a boon from the gods. During the connection, the faithful can briefly communicate with the god as well. An offering from nature deposited in the troughs is needed for the conduit to be able to complete the ceremony. And for the recall door, the gist is the recall doorway is a magical portal that can potentially allow for the retrieval of the soul of an important person. The door must be touched by someone with an incredibly strong bond to the dead individual, and then they must go through a series of trials in order to retrieve the soul, although this process is not always successful, so this isn't a guarantee. The chance of the doorway opening increases with the waxing of the moon, with the power being strongest on the night of the full moon and weakest on the night of the new moon. So both the completion of the trials and even the opening of the door in the first place are not guaranteed things. But yeah, that's a lot of what you find in the training room.
It just proves that we're awesome.
So humble. So I guess after that we get led to the trials.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so
let's do it.
It's pretty like late in the day at this point. I don't know if you guys want to start the trial on.
We'll start tomorrow.
How long could it possibly take?
We'll start tomorrow.
We're going to fall down every other ravine, so it's probably days.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, we should pack some food. How I want to ask.
Sorry,
Sue,
that's really funny to me. Yes.
how long does it normally take people to complete these trials?
It really depends. Some people accomplish the path in a day, leaving, at sunrise and coming home in the evening. Some people it takes a few days, and unfortunately not everyone comes home.
We are definitely coming back.
I have faith in
So it might take us a while.
Hey, but we should start during the daytime for the
Mhm.
We'll set out basically at sunrise.
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind another night sleeping in that bed. So
That is true. The bed is nice.
yeah, that is nice. Do we need to do anything in the morning before we leave, Sue, or can we just do we need to let you know, or?
I mean, if that is your plan, that's fine. Like I said, since you're not doing this for the same ceremonial reason or in the same way that someone from our group would, there's nothing extra you need to prepare.
Then I think we'll probably spend one more night here and resting up and preparing ourselves to head out in the morning. And we want to thank both of you again for all this information. And I hope what we've been able to provide about the door and performing the ceremony has been of some help to you and your village as well.
Very much.
Was the ceremony helpful? Was it cool? Did you get what you wanted from it?
It was very interesting. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. So I've been tending this place a long time, and it's really nice to see it being used and that it still works. It gives me hope.
Well,
That's
and
awesome.
thank you for taking such good care of it, because this is the most information we've been able to get about any of them.
Yeah.
Definitely the nicest temple that we've been to. You've got a good one.
I'm glad. Gesundheit.
Thanks. Sorry. Inopportune timing.
Yeah, are you guys doing anything else with your evening, or would you like to fast forward to the next morning?
I feel like we could fast forward.
I mean, I'm probably just going to try to review some of the books so I can take a couple, but tonight try to go through a couple.
Totally. I mentioned that there was some training stuff on magic. It's divine magic, so it's not really your thing, unfortunately.
I want to read that.
But the other books are, like I said, all kinds of interesting instructional things.
Oh yeah. Even yeah. It's not a spell book to learn a spell from. I'm still going to review it in case it has basically any information either for this or that I just can make note of for other purposes.
Fair enough. Yeah. And you also, like I said, there's some instructional texts on medicine. So you get the feeling as you're reading it that some of these temples seem to have had a specific purpose. So the one in the grassland, the room where you dealt with the shadows, specters, whatever, it was an infirmary room. So it seems like maybe that temple was they all have the ability for someone to, do magic or healing, but maybe that one was the quote unquote hospital, right? And the one that Rashadan was taking care of was one training center for the Asimars, the conduits, and this is another place where training was done. So you're starting to piece together how this system of temples worked by reading this stuff. Yeah.
But there's no information about other temples, like
Not specifically.
locations, purposes, or anything like that. I want to read the magical text, the text on divine magic. Is there anything in there that's new information for me? Or is this just Obadiah Alana interpretations of stuff I already know from?
Yeah, so it's basically their spin on it. Like, you know, this is they are gods, but they are gods of nature. So it's kind of like a combination of a lot of the things that like you and Nautia are capable of or know. Yeah, and it's you know, interesting to you as you're reading this to think about like Siw and Braga are the same kind of pair, right? One of them mechanically is a druid and the other one mechanically is a cleric, right? And so like that the idea of like those two kinds of divine magic seem to be like closely intertwined in this particular religion or way of doing. Yeah.
We're a pair, Nautia.
Oh. Okay. What the? I mean, we both. You mean like our magic?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's like, you know, two different ways of doing kind of the same stuff.
That makes sense.
Right? We're both connecting with the gods.
Yeah, with the magic that's just here, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
Not
created
even
by the gods.
like mathy magic like Fletcher does. It's just like, you know, the good stuff.
It's just different.
Mathy magic?
I imagine
magic.
that arcane magic has like math in it. Right?
Like I have to solve some like trigonometry problems, and then that's what turns into a
like
spell.
it's like the math meme, like the
There's
lady
some
with
weird
the-
calculus
It's
shit.
definitely
Who
written
knows?
in like awful looking equations like you see in scientific papers sometimes. And my eyes always glaze over when I see those. Like
Kay looks at Braga and Sue and is like, "Do you know what happened to the Asimars? I've never met one, and I didn't even know they existed, which seems kind of weird."
I have no idea. I mean, neither of us was alive when the loss happened. I guess nobody in our village. It wasn't something that we knew right away or have no way of pinpointing when exactly it happened.
But I'm only 17. That's like, you're definitely older than I am.
Yes, I would imagine so. I have no idea where they might have gone or where they came from in the first place. That's very unclear.
But how did I get here?
You walked into our village.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is a thing.
I think maybe what Kay's asking about is, did Asimar disappear with the loss at the same time of the gods? And if they did, then how is their Kay now?
That was basically all of the feelings summed up into words. Fletcher's very good at this.
That is a good question. I don't get the impression that they sort of poof disappeared when the loss happened, because again, it was apparently not like there was a specific day or time that this occurred. So my impression is that they just sort of left when it was realized that things had gone wrong. But I don't know where.
Maybe we'll find a village of people like me and I can ask all the questions. Like, you all came from somewhere. Like, Nautia is a water buffet, and Fletcher, you're like a human, and Cedric's a dwarf, but like, and so you all like have people that you came from.
Okay, I think think that's a possibility if we keep traveling.
Yeah, let's try and find other Asimers.
Alrighty, but we should do this trail first.
Yeah, definitely that.
It sounds important.
We need those magic acorns.
Yeah.
Sounds dumb when you say it like that.
I mean,
It's true.
What species of oak are they from?
Have we encountered oaks in Arda? We have not been in a temperate forest in Arda yet. Or
you have been in a temperate forest.
in the chestnut forest?
In the chestnut
grove?
forest.
Yeah.
Good
And
memory.
there's got to be some around New Chester. Like,
Yeah. Most of New Chester is surrounded by grasslands, but there are some areas of trees, like especially wetter areas, just like in the real prairie. Yeah, and in fact,
Like river oaks?
yeah, there's some oaks in those sort of like wetter areas around New Chester.
swamp oak, white oak.
Well,
Better
you'll
be-
have to
better
decide
be
when
like
you
a
look
red
at the acorns.
All right, just be prepared for us to ask when we find them.
I've already pictured my favorite acorn. I'll be ready to.
Oh, I hope it's
describe
bur
it to you.
oak.
Oh, fir oak. Really?
Yeah, they're cool.
Whatever.
Contentious acorn opinions.
Yeah, everybody needs a favorite acorn.
Maybe she'll throw in some, not technically acorns, but the non-Quercus fagaceae, like a chestnut. Like maybe one will just be a chestnut.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
they don't
three
all have to
different
be the
types of
same
acorns.
kind. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Anyway, you'll find out when you open the bag if you find the bag. Let's go find the bag.
Okay, let's go find the bag.
Yeah. All right. So now we're fast forwarding to the next morning.
Yep.
Okay, cool. It's the next morning.
Breakfast.
Eat some food.
Mm-hmm.
How are you prepping for this journey? It sounded like you were maybe thinking you would need to pack like overnight supplies and stuff.
Well, we have Cedric's beef antelope jerky. He's gonna have to like fry some vegetables or something.
There's a lot to forage. He and Nautia are really good at it.
Yes,
Around
we
here.
were collecting a bunch of like random medicinal plants. I was also collecting berries and nuts, which we had been instructed in how to collect or which ones were good earlier.
Oh, he made trail mix.
Last
yeah,
week.
and I also did a good chunk of that the previous morning too. Just
We have a big old bag of gorp.
I hope
we-
you're
we
eating
got it.
more
We
than
got some
just
clogs.
berries and nuts, though, because like that's.
yeah, because like he showed us some other stuff too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Cedric is eating a good
Right.
variety.
Yeah, that's what I was like. He's gonna
Nautia
find out
would
real
know to
quick.
eat a variety.
It's really easy to have a nutritional imbalance when you're trying to eat vegetarian.
Uh-huh.
Cedric's just eating like ephedra, I assume. Just like, this is great.
You said we had some. You said there were some legumes, right?
Yeah, there were legumes, there were some
And mushrooms.
starchy roots, there's mushrooms, there's roughage. Yeah.
Well, when we see Cedric eating dirt, we'll know there's a problem.
And we can talk about
Yeah, Pyrea. That's. I was like, it starts with a P. I don't remember. Why would he have Pyrea, Nancy?
I'm not sure. He's not getting the right minerals and stuff. All right, let's go to the trials.
Okay. So you are, as you said, the path begins sort of like. So again, this. The doorway to this temple is sort of in the, the mountainside with these bushes sort of growing over it. So sort of above the doorway is where the path begins, as she described to you. And then it winds upwards towards the peak of the mountain.
Yeah, we're hiking.
Okay.
Step forward, I guess.
All right.
Nautia, I feel like you should go first since you're the flying one. And this is like a flying.
Mm.
You could let us know if we're coming up to anything, like blind drops in the path or things like that.
I mean, I've guided you through other dangerous terrain, so yeah.
Speaking of dangerous terrain, as you begin ascending the path, those dark clouds have not gone away from yesterday afternoon, and it does start raining. It's not a thunderstorm right now, but there is rain, so you imagine that the path might become slick as you travel.
Cool.
Yay, environmental
Nautia
barriers.
absolutely will not notice anyone else's discomfort with the rain because she is all about it.
I had to give Nautia some rain. It hasn't rained in a while.
It's been so long. It's been so long in the desert.
Okay, so you make your way up the path for a little bit of a ways, and then I guess Nautia first and the rest of you behind her pretty easily see this very tall wooden wall. It's basically just like a bunch of tree trunks that have sort of been like lashed together, and it is vertical and blocking the path. And you'll remember that Siw said there were some targets that you would need to hit in order to release the walls to make them into bridges.
Oh, right. Do you see anything that looks like a target?
Looks around, I guess.
Okay. Anybody who's looking for the target can give me a perception check.
Ooh. Okay, come on, dice. I got a natural 1, so I don't see anything. It's raining a lot. The water's dripping in my eyes. I have my hood pulled over all the way, and I'm sniffly. Life is hard.
Hey, Nancy, guess what? I also rolled a natural 1.
Oh my god. Ryan's so disappointed in you.
I mean, I only got an 8, but at least it wasn't a 1.
Yeah.
Whoa, Mr. Show Off over here.
24.
I mean, technically, I also got an 8 because my perception is 7. So 1 plus 7 is 8.
It is. Nautia, you can see a small circular wooden target hanging in a tree, kind of like, so this path, again, it's winding up the side of the mountain. So there is one side of this path that just sort of like drops off, and there are trees, beyond that. And you can see a target hanging on a tree. And you can point it out to everyone else pretty easily.
Yeah. Found it.
So it's like a little circular, like, archery target.
Yes, yes, thank you. I could probably hit it with an arrow, maybe.
Why don't you... Can I try and hit it with my sling first? I feel like don't waste an arrow. There's plenty.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I didn't even know you had that thing.
Right?
Yeah, what? Sling?
What is this?
That's why I guessed. I was like, oh my god,
I
I'm
always
going to
had
use
this
it for the
sling.
first time.
Yeah, I've had one in my pack this whole time, too.
We've never seen it before.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Kay,
I use this thing all the time.
Kay snatches it out of Cedric's hand and is like pling pling and like playing with it.
No, we've had that conversation. It's a sling, not a slingshot.
Oh, you like throw it.
Yeah.
So she's like picking up. She's like, "How do you use this?"
It's just a strip of like fabric or leather. You have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a belt. Are you sure you're not missing a belt?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you just show me how it's done then? You do it. Go ahead. Try not to hit me in the back, please.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I owe you one, but is this just plus my ranged attack bonus, right?
Yeah. Ooh, metal dice.
That is a 22.
Yeah, so you release your sling and the rock goes flying through the rain and hits the target, and after a moment you hear something and the wall sort of like and it falls. And
I turn around.
Okay.
you can
Still
see
got
the
it.
path on the other side. Yeah.
Wow. Maybe I should use a belt as a weapon.
It's a sling.
I can show you how it works.
Do you think the bridge is timed? Should we like run across it?
We should
Okay,
I
probably
mean,
go.
we should probably go.
Yeah.
Walk and talk.
Stand here and wonder whether or not it's a timed bridge instead of just...
We crossed the bridge.
Definitely
Okay.
crossing the bridge.
You crossed
Yeah.
the bridge. Good grief.
This isn't a video game puzzle where you set it off and then observe to see what it does. to then set it off again to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have not had good experiences with bridges. The last time I crossed a bridge, I fell in the river. So I'm just saying.
As long as this one will be an improvement, as long as it doesn't spin over upside down.
Wasn't that an awesome trap? I love that one. It's a good one.
It was the part where it was double-sided that was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you continue winding your way up, and like I may have not have described this well earlier, but like these are big mountains, right? So like you imagine that like, oh my god, if we have to go all the way to the peak looking for this thing, it's gonna be a while. So you go up the path for a good ways through the rain, and eventually you get to, I'm looking for the description.
I'm assuming, is it understood, or should we say when we want to like during the walk say, I want to like peer over the edge or look around for the satchel, like I don't want to just like walk by it because no one said I want to do a search check.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you have like a specific place that you'd like to be looking for it, you can. But if you guys give me your search bonuses, I can sort of like, you know, do an ambient or like a, you know, passive one for you.
Like if because we're like always going to be vigilant, like looking for it. Okay.
I mean, we're set on this task to like not die and find the magic acorn pouch.
Right.
It's basically a genie in the bottle, except for a lamp, it's a pouch, and instead of a genie, it's 3 magic acorns.
3 acorns.
So this is our search bonus and not our like made up perception bonus thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because perception is listen and spot, which is wisdom, and search is
actually give me both, because like. Again, search is for like close up, and actually perception's probably better, honestly, because like
but we're searching for
one of those is +0 and one of those is +8.
Yeah, you're looking for something, but like search is for like when you're like up close,
a focused task.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was kind of thinking of them as like search is like in 5th edition investigation check.
Yes, that is correct.
Perception.
Like one is wisdom, one is ed. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Perception is like awareness of surroundings, not like. Yeah.
So, like, a perception check would show you either the thing, if it was just out in the open, or a good place to look. Like, if you thought, oh, maybe it's in a crack in this wall or something, right? Whereas, like, search is like, now I'm going to stick my hands in the crack in the wall and see if I can find it, or if a snake bites me or something.
Okay, my perception bonus is 7.
7?
Ooh.
Mine is also 7.
7.
8. Dang.
For Nautia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Fletcher?
4.
7.
4.
Oh.
You're Cedric.
Well,
Anyway.
you said it quietly. I
Sorry.
couldn't tell if you said Cedric or Fletcher.
Sorry. Okay. So 7s, an 8, and a 4. Okay. Yeah. So I'll keep those in mind. But again, if you want to like actively try to roll better than that, you can at any point. But yeah. So you wind your way up this path for a ways, like, you know, 20, 30 minutes, and you're going a little slow because it's rainy and you don't want to slip. Because it's
altitude,
and it's not an exceptionally wide path, so you know it's supposed to be a tough journey. And eventually, you encounter the first of the gaps that Siw and Braga warned you about. So it is a gap approximately 30 feet wide, and you can see that like when you like look over the edge, like it just goes down like quite a ways. And it's also 8 o'clock my time, which means that we are now on yet another cliffhanger.
I hate us.
But y'all, we covered some really important ground earlier about like anatomical stuff and, you know,
Bird butt.
revisiting the cloaca thing really was important.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so thanks to everyone who was hanging out. Thanks to Lord Mung for joining. Thank you, Rachel, for redeeming bonuses for our friends who didn't have to roll that much today, but
we will need them next time for crossing
we will.
this gap. We will need everything.
Kay's mortal enemy is vertical surfaces.
And you don't have the Safe Wing emblem anymore. Yeah, so that's that for right now. We will be back. I always have to look at my calendar. I can't remember these things. We will be back on September 12th.
Whoop.
Sweet.
Sunday, September 12th. Right here. Same time. Same Twitch channel. Same players. Same problem, as always.
Another cliff. Our favorite.
Come for the games, stay for the inability to cross a gap.
Yeah.
Stay for the 2 hours of figuring out how we're going to get ourselves up
Right.
after falling.
Yep.
You'd think we would have this down by now. Like,
Well, now it's raining.
Now it's
Well,
raining.
but like,
You're not going to be able to climb back up.
this
all right,
isn't-
next village we come to, I'm buying a rope bridge.
How would you get it to the... Anyway.
Nautia
No,
could
no,
carry
no,
you to
it's
the
like
other
get it
side.
over
over
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
side.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
have to, make sure you anchor it well and not like that one knot that I did.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
because Nadia's really good at tying rods. No. Yeah.
No,
Um,
she is. She rolled a 1.
We don't know that though, right? Like that knot held, I
It
think.
did hold.
Yeah, I want to say, because
Yeah.
I did briefly have a moment of being very terrified of killing Kay after she'd already not died.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I rolled and the knot held, but yes. But, you know, you only have to get across this one. You don't have to go down and back up the other side. It's only 30 feet across. It's a lot narrower than the canyon that you tried to get across.
I don't think that makes
Yeah.
it better.
Yeah, it might as well be the Grand Canyon for our ability level.
Well, now you've got lots of time to think about how to problem solve it. We'll be back on September 12th, Sunday, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Anybody has any life hacks about crossing a canyon, drop them in our Discord.
Drop them in the Discord,
Yeah.
tweet them at us, do the thing. Thanks so much for hanging out. We will see you later. Bye.
Bye.